Grace and peace, everybody. We back up in this building. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. We got a lot to talk about. I had planned to start the show a little bit early, but lo and behold, TPUSA done pulled me back into the game. My goodness, in the morning. Y'all, thank y'all so much for jumping into the best live chat on the internet. Shout out to everybody. Please go ahead and drop in your like number when you hit that like button, all that kind of good stuff. I want to say thank you so much for last month. Last month was crazy. We had a great time, man. Y'all really crushed November. And I just want to say thank you. It really means a lot that y'all rock with us. Y'all come, keep popping in every day to these live streams or commenting on the videos or whatever like that. It means a lot. So I'll go over some numbers. Maybe we'll do that later because I had intended to kind of go over those numbers, but I got this video thrown on my lap. Oh my gosh, man, I got to talk about this. Woo. So anyway, thank y'all so much. Everybody who's already hopped up in here. Good to see you. Loyal love. Always good to see Misty. Thank you so much for popping in. I see you there, Anna. How are you? Hey to you. What's happening? What we got over there, ECAT? Happy Wednesday to you as well. Absolutely got your text, man. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. Texas is up in this building. Traveling sit show. Okay. I'm going to take that as exactly what it is. All right. Right. Ooh, you think they're going to need a lawyer? I think they are. I'm going to go with, from the little bit that I've seen, I'm going to tell you why I think a lawyer will approve this. Thank you so much. Appreciate you stopping through. Good to see you, friends. Always good to see you. Yeah, there's a video. TPUSA just they called out Candace. Let me just, spoiler alert, Candace is going to be mad about this. She's going to be mad in her absolute soul. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be bad, bad, bad. Oh, you know what? I didn't get my own bingo board ready. How is that a possible thing? Oh, I totally forgot about it, man. Let me get this bingo board very quickly. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet up in here. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. So I started a little bit early because I had already planned on this being a long show today. I had a lot of videos I want to talk about, and they're not all about Candace. Now, some of them are, but not all of them are. Let me see, got my bingo board. Let's make it. I don't like this one already. I already don't like it. I don't know. This might actually be okay. I'll take that back. This might be okay. Let me put it over here, let y'all see it real quick. And then we're going to jump in because we got a lot to do with this TPUSA video. So let me get that squared up real quick as well. All right, we're going to share this screen instead of the other one. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so I got that Candy Rock bingo, of course. My sources, I can't say who yet. Lawyers, they're trying to silence me. Ooh, FBI, trust me, bro. CIA, patchwork theories. I have messages, controlled opposition. Why isn't anyone talking about this? Kanye West, which Kanye, I'm very surprised. She said nothing about Kanye West. To me, that's only proof that what Kanye West did actually did, and what we saw was real. It wasn't, we weren't tricked, or it wasn't AI or anything like that. I really believe that was real because Candace hasn't said anything about it. But Kanye West, plot twist, do your own research, bots, TPUSA, well, we know that's going to come in. Call out a random country, FOIA, I feel, I don't like, globalist France. Oh, we know France is about to catch it. I won't share yet. I just sense. Okay, this one. Okay, I take it back. This is going to be a good one. Shout out to you, man. What's going on, the honey bunny? Good to see you. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. All right, what are we talking about today, Jason? Well, we got a lot to talk about. I got a ton of videos to talk about, but what we're going to talk about first, we're going to talk about this Charlie Kirk episode that they just did. Yeah, they messed up Candace's life right here. So let's go ahead and let's keep it dancing. Let's go.
We wanted to
green hearts in the chat when you can hear.
To use this segment at the top of this hour to say something important, something very important. For the past 2.5 months, there is a topic that has flooded our Freedom inbox. It has been nonstop on social media. but which we have almost totally avoided on this show. You probably already know what I'm talking about, which shows just how ubiquitous it has been. Ever since Charlie's murder, Candace Owens has leveled a flood of allegations against people at Turning Point USA, people at Turning Point Action, and people who work for this show. She's made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees.
I am going. It is interesting. He doesn't say TP USA, TP USA Faith or TP Faith. Did he say it? Let me back up a little bit just to make sure I didn't miss it. I didn't hear him say TP USA Faith.
Owens has leveled a flood of allegations against people at Turning Point USA, people at Turning Point Action, and people who work for this show. She's made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees. She has suggested that Michael McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, knew Charlie would be murdered, was happy that he died, and stayed silent because he was told he would be the next Charlie. She has suggested Michael is not his real name. It is. I have seen his birth certificate myself. She has called it suspicious that Mikey's wife, who works at Turning Point, helped plan the campus tour event where Charlie was murdered, which she didn't, by the way. She doesn't work on campus events. Candace has suggested the Utah Valley University event was unusual and its details suggested a, quote, inside job. She has claimed that foreign aircraft have followed Erica Kirk around the country and that Turning Point has lied about this happening. She has accused us of lying about Charlie wanting Erica to take over for him.
Okay. All right. All right. My name is Jason. Oh, by the way, when I say that I'm a pre-K law student, I really, because there are new people who've just found my channel. I'm not a law student. Okay. It's a joke. It's me saying that I'm really not a law student. There's no such thing as pre-K law school. So when I say I'm a pre-K law student, that's what I mean by that. I'm just saying, like, I'm just an average guy, just like you, reading, listening, hearing, using my good common sense that the Lord has given me to come to conclusions. But I'm not at all a lawyer by any means or measure. My hat goes off to all lawyers, whether they're good or bad. They've studied a lot. And look, I am not a lawyer by any means or measure. That being said, I do think a lawyer told them that they could say this because everything that he's talking about, every one of the little gnats that he's swatting down, has nothing to do with Tyler Robinson. It has nothing really to do even with the case itself. These are just ancillary. I think the law department went through and said, okay, this is stupid. This is dumb. This is ridiculous. You can talk about this one. Don't talk about that. You can talk about this one. I think that's what happened because these are all just stupid things that Candace has said that are completely brain dead. And, you know, hats off to them for doing that. Let's get back to it. Pre-K law school student out.
If he died. She has suggested Charlie's security team intentionally denied him first aid after the shooting to ensure that he died. She has raised suspicions about the head of our technical team because he took an SD card out of a camera. She has spread absurd claims that Tyler Boyer, who we just had on the show, sexually abuses male interns. She has suggested that TPUSA faith-affiliated pastors, like theologian Frank Turek, who we'll have on in a moment, and Pastor Rob McCoy, are part of a military, quote, infiltration of Turning Point, either because they are veterans.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I believe that legal has been reading the emails and they've been grouping the emails like, okay, this conversation right here, this has nothing to do with it. This conversation right here, this has nothing to do with Tyler Robinson. This has nothing to do with this. Y'all can shoot these down. Yeah, that's what I think happened. But okay, because I know somebody already told me what's going to happen, so I'm kind of like already on pins and needles to hear what's going to actually happen. So let's see how it goes.
Or because they have family members who are. Even if not everyone has been named specifically, though, Candace has effectively tarred everyone here with complicity in Charlie's death by repeatedly saying he was, quote, betrayed by, quote, everyone. She has said Charlie's murder, quote, had to be approved by Charlie's friends, and then suggested those friends might have her murdered too for, quote, knowing the truth. She has made claims of financial impropriety and fraud at Turning Point, adding up into the millions of dollars, which, again, is not true. Charlie made sure the organization was audited by a third party every year. He personally reviewed and he signed off on every expense report, and literally every single bill paid by the organization down to a single United States dollar.
I'm telling you right now, because I already know what's going to happen because somebody already spoiled it for me. She's gonna go completely lunatic. She's gonna go crazy right here. She's gonna be steaming mad. And I think they're gonna actually, oh, here we go. Here we go. Hopefully you all are okay with this. I've said this and I stand by it. Candace Owens' show is pre-recorded. Okay. I will take back what I said about the show being pre-recorded if she addresses this today. If she addresses this today, then she didn't she could still have pre-recorded it. Depends on when it goes forward, but I'll give her a little bit more grace because her show is pre-recorded. It's not organic. It's not like this show right here where I'm over here talking to y'all fresh off the dial. I'm pulling up comments. I'm talking to y'all right now in real time. Candace can't do that because her show is recorded earlier in the day and she just puts it out at a certain time. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. If she talks about this today, I will give her a little bit more grace, even though I still think you could still, because this video has been out for almost 2 hours. It's not impossible to even done this. But I just want to put that out there. Let's bring him back up in here. Let's go. Woo.
We have never missed a 990 deadline. Candace has made other stranger allegations involving French paratroopers in maroon shirts, Egyptian Air Force planes flying out of Provo, Utah, and potential underground assassins traveling through unseen tunnels. At one point in early November, she started wildly throwing suspicion on members of Utah Valley's soccer team for wearing hoodies. I could go on. There is always something new coming.
They are going to eviscerate her. This has got to be the best list of all of the shenanigans that Candace has said. This is a great list. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. She pre-records so she can properly protect it in Nexus. Right, absolutely. Oh, this is going to, yeah, what about the underground bees though? He did not talk about the bees. Betsy B, you got this, you got missed. All right, let's go. I don't think Tatum's going to do it. I don't think Tatum's got the cojones to do that. I'm sorry. Tatum is just not, he's not man enough for this. That's just it. Reality. All right, let's go.
And none of it ever pans out because from the start, there has been nothing there. The attacks and allegations from Candace are either lies or they are innuendos thrown around with a total reckless disregard for the truth so that Candace can manipulate and string along an audience of people who don't realize they are being played.
Dang.
Instead of being able to grieve properly after one of the most heinous murders in American history, a murder many of us had to witness, my friends have had to endure harassment from people who have gotten whipped up by what Candace is saying. In fact, I would say we have suffered more harassment from these people than we have from Antifa supporters who overtly celebrate Charlie's murder. And just like a lot of those Antifa members, many of these people take this delight in how gross and unpleasant they can be. What our friends have had to endure is not funny and it's not insignificant. It is evil. I have seen it.
Dang.
For months, we have received hundreds, thousands, I suspect, emails and calls asking us to respond. People have wanted us to invite Candace on the show. But for a long time, our approach was to say nothing.
All right, here it comes. Prepare yourselves. I don't think Candace ever needs to come on the show. That's hands down. Like physically in the room, no, not you are no longer welcome. But they're going to do something. I think they're going to, you know how she said yesterday, she put the ball in their court. They're about to literally drive a big monster truck up in her front yard and playing some loud music. This is going to be wild. Let's see. Let's see. Billy, let's see what happens. Okay, let's go.
Did that for several reasons. First, we thought that her prevarications were so absurd that nobody would believe them. We shouldn't have to answer questions about secret tunnels or Egyptian Air Force planes. That sort of thing is it's beneath contempt to respond to. The second reason we've said so little, though, is because there's a good rule of thumb, which Charlie followed. Do not feed the trolls. Focus on the mission. Reviving America, uplifting young people, making heaven crowded. Don't give air to people who want to tear you down and sow discord. Lastly, we didn't respond because Charlie always viewed Candace as a friend, and we were holding out hope that she would return that friendship and stop what she was doing. But a week from now, it's going to be 3 months since Charlie's murder. Candace has not changed her behavior. She has continued to spread falsehoods about Charlie's friends, and she continues to concoct new ones about new people. She's using these falsehoods to enrich herself while dividing the conservative movement at an absolutely critical time for this country. And far too often, we here have heard from ordinary people, people who loved Charlie and who Charlie loved so much in return. These people have expressed the worry that we are staying silent out of cowardice or as some sort of tacit admission that some of the attacks are true. Neither is the case. Our silence has never been, and it will never be, equal to complacency or approval. Still, we decided Charlie would not allow this to go on. Charlie was not a coward. Charlie was a fighter. Charlie would not allow someone to spread lies about the people closest to him with impunity. And he would feel ashamed if other people were stepping up to defend his friends while he never did so himself. Candace has mentioned several times that the ball is in our court.
Here it comes.
So here's what is going to happen. In the near future, there will be a live stream here in Phoenix where we address in a clear and comprehensive way the claims and accusations, the false accusations that have been made against Charlie's family, friends, and the people here at Turning Point. We plan to walk through everything carefully and thoroughly. If Candace is available, we would sincerely welcome her participation in that live stream at our studio here in Phoenix. At this point, we believe the ball is back in her court. Our motivation for doing this is not out of any obligation to Candace. It is about honoring Charlie. We feel a deep responsibility to protect his legacy, his work, and the truth. I feel that. I owe Charlie everything in my life. I feel it immensely. And that is why we feel compelled to speak clearly and openly now. We'll have more on this in the near future.
Okay. What was that? Somebody bought a Bugatti on Temu. That's crazy. All right, y'all. What do y'all think? What do you think? You know what? I'm more optimistic than I thought I would be when I first saw the video link. I was like, oh my gosh. No, I thought that was much better than I anticipated. I don't think Candace ever needs to come to Phoenix ever again. She can live stream in. No. But one of her superpowers is the ability to remain aloof, if you will, and kind of drive the conversation. If they're going to have a true debate with like debate format, I think that would be amazing. So what do y'all think? Let me see what y'all got. Thank you for speaking to her like a child. What does Yuck say? In my opinion, Candy had Charlie taken out. She had made the most money and is trying to get Tyler's jury pool tainted. So one juror votes no and Tyler goes free. I can rock with that. Please make sure you like the video. Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be a live stream worth watching. We will be watching that. As long as it's something I can get on, we will be watching that. She's not a friend. She's tarnishing the entire legacy. I'm with you. I agree. She claimed Erica Kirk was the only one who could shut her up, but since Erica was on Megan's show saying Charlie handpicked his people, Candace has again charged TPUSA with betraying him. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. I got a great video for you all about that as well. So glad he is addressing this. Wait, he is addressing to this. Okay. People close to Charlie said he had a good heart and Candace abused that. I can't argue with you. All right, let's see what y'all got. Yeah, here's a link to the video if you want to see the video. I haven't had time to add it to the description of this video because I kind of got got ahead of myself. So I apologize about that. But yes, thank you so much, mods. Thank you so much, Tina. All right. Oh, we will be watching it. There's no argument there. There's no way we're not going to watch that. You know, Candace isn't going to go. She will. Oh yeah, you know that. You know that. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Like, hey, we put it out there for you. We addressed it. We invited you. Okay, you know what? I can see what they did. Look, we're inviting you. We said, come on. If you don't come, that's your decision. Okay. Bring your security. Same security that was with you at Dollywood, right? Okay. I can dig it. Let me see real quick. See when she's going live. Tim Pool versus Candace Owens. Great day. What is this? I mean, the internet is crazy today. All right, real quick. I'm just going to check. I got a feeling. Okay, one of two things is going to happen. She's not going to address it at all because she already recorded her show. Or she is going to do it live, and she's going to go like live at like 6 o'clock because she's going to need time to review it and discuss it. That's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen. So it'll be one of those two, but I'm going to go with she's going to go live at a normal time. She has not uploaded or said when she's going to go live. So at the moment, we'll leave that alone. All right, what you got here? You don't think she's going to participate in it? I can see it, but I think they're putting the offer out there. So she can't say that she wasn't invited. I'm sorry, that she's not going like she did at the memorial. You weren't invited to go. We're inviting you to come out here to Phoenix to debate about these topics. That's going to be serious. And they call the devil's bluff. I agree. Put up or shut up. Because, you know, she's going to have to put out some evidence. She won't be getting away with it. Trust me, bro. So I agree. No, I do think that they're calling her bluff. Excellent. Of course, she would never debate, only confirming her grift. I agree. Yeah, I thought it was good. It was better than I thought. Again, I watched a few moments of it, and then I said, let me go ahead and talk about it. I'll just watch it, do a live reaction to it. I thought it was great. She would have to face the people. She has cast, as suspect. Wonder if she has it in her. Nope, I don't think. But they're putting the offer out there. I want them to be like, look, here, we're buying ticket. We will buy you a ticket. We will put you up in a hotel of your choice. Just send us the receipt, and we'll reimburse you. Oh, she's gonna be mad. Oh, she's gonna be fit to be tied. No way she's gonna go. No way is she going to go on. Only if you do it on her podcast. Absolutely. Like, she won't go sit in front of the people that she just said and did this. That would be crazy work. What did we have here? I think she is going to claim it's a setup to continue to grift accusation and slander. Well, I mean, it will be a setup and everybody can watch it. You can stream it. You can literally come in with your home camera and follow along the whole day. You pick your ticket, you pick your hotel, we'll reimburse you for it after the fact. When you get here, we'll give you a check for however much your ticket, your Uber, your hotel, all that stuff. So you can't say that we bugged your room or anything. She's going to not do it. That's hands down. That we know, hands down. Okay, I wish they hadn't done that. Initially, when I saw the video link sent to me in my email, I said, this is a bad idea. Now that I watched it, I am perfectly fine with it. And I'll tell you why. Because nothing that they talked about, they literally only talked about these ancillary, fringe, ridiculous things that Candace is talking about. It has nothing to do with the case. And okay, fine. She's going to get some air, sure. But guess what? They now are putting it out there like, no, we didn't do these things. We're not committing fraud. No, we didn't participate in this. The security guard did not do this. And they're putting it out there and putting it back on Candace. Somebody's eventually going to have to say, Candace, where's your evidence? Where's the proof, Candace, that you have that this happened this way? That Mike McCoy's wife worked on the the campus tour. Where's your proof? Because they're saying it's not true. Where's your proof, Candace? I think that was the right thing to do. Now I do. Finally. I wish I could play that rock. Finally. Yeah, somebody bought a Bugatti, it said, on Temu. I don't know what that, I don't know if that's real, it's a real Bugatti. I don't know. I'm sure it's not. She wouldn't do anything. But I think the fact that they threw it out there and said, hey, we'll invite you. Come on. I think therein is the rub, because Candace is going to have to put up or shut up, as somebody said earlier. Oh, yeah. Trust me, I'm already putting in my order for popcorn. I don't think, like I said, Yuck, she already pre-recorded a show. I feel very comfortable in saying that she already pre-recorded her show. She's either going to scrap that show, she's going to act like, for example, when she does the ad reads, do you realize that the ad read is inserted into the video? Right. You know why? Because they recorded it at different times. So I'm hoping she's so dumbfounded that she doesn't come out and try to do something or address it today. But if she does, she's going to fumble and foil and make a fool of herself. So that's going to actually be kind of good too. I'm conflicted. I realized this morning that Candace dropped her donor refund plea on Giving Tuesday. Yeah, that was wild that she did it on Giving Tuesday. So happy. All right. Her followers are over. They're going crazy in the comments. Are they really? Oh, man. Hold on, let me just check. But she doesn't have a video ready. Where are they in the comment section? They must be on Twitter. If they're on Twitter, man, Twitter is crazy. Twitter is a wasteland. Let me see something real quick. Oh my gosh, why do I have all these comments in my... All right, let's see. Yeah, there was a lot of comments on Nathan's video yesterday. Shout out to Nathan Livingstone. A lot of people wanted to comment about that. What? Okay, I don't know what I'm seeing. There's some wild stuff in here. Y'all, stay away from Twitter, man. Twitter is crazy. Twitter is a crazy, crazy place, man. It's a crazy world over there. It's an evil world we living in over here. Hold on, let me get that in there. Man, what do you think about Twitter, man? What do you think about Twitter?
She belongs to the streets.
Absolutely, man. I can't find It's an Evil World. Oh, here it is right here. Hey, man, what you think about Twitter, man?
It's an evil world we live in.
There we go. All right, let's keep this dance going. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Appreciate y'all jumping in today. And we are just going through. Yeah, I don't know why I have X. It's crazy over there. I got some friends, man, that they love it. They love Twitter, man. They stay in the. I just don't got the time for that stuff. I ain't got the time for that at all. But no, I appreciate y'all tapping in. Let me just send this to my sister real quick. She was asking for something, and I will send it to you. Bang. I think we got it. All right. Got it. All right. So my plan beforehand was to go over a couple of fun videos with you all. And so we're going to go ahead and shift gears. All right. We shift gears, old school gear shifting going on. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right after lunch, I have Megan Grout coming on. She's going to be talking about Fonnie Willis. I know y'all might have forgotten, but do you remember way long time ago when Donald Trump was being brought up on RICO charges here in Atlanta? Well, over time, and I mean over time, it's been almost like 2 years, probably even more, actually 3 years, the case has completely fell apart. The case has been thrown out, even so bad that the district attorney is probably going to end up having to pay Donald Trump and the co-defendants their legal fees. Is crazy work. So Megan Grout, she's a defense attorney here in Atlanta. She's been doing a fantastic job of breaking this down and keeping us abreast of it. So what I want to do was, she's coming in tomorrow to talk about it. So I'm going to play a quick video to kind of bring us up to speed. If you haven't been keeping up with this, maybe you've got other things to do. So shout out to actually Paralegal Institute. He's been doing a yeoman's job as well. And so I wanted to show this quick clip to remind you everything that's been going on. There's a little bit of Megan in there as well to help you out. And then tomorrow she's going to be on the show. She's going to give us a lowdown on what's happening and probably take some questions from you all. So it's at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And I appreciate y'all if y'all are able to hop in and definitely say, hey, what's up to her and let her know we appreciate her for stopping by. So let me bring this in.
Exclusively sat down with President Trump's lead attorney in this case here in Georgia, Steve Sadow.
This money that goes to attorneys' fees and costs comes out of Fonnie Willis's budget. It's unfortunate that her budget will be so affected, but she's the one that brought the case, and she's the one that has to live with the outcome.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, today we're going to be doing a follow-up to our last video on your girl. You know who she is. You're looking at her on the screen. Fonnie Willis, the DA of Fulton County, Georgia, who just suffered a huge loss when her case, her RICO case against President Donald Trump was not only dropped by another prosecutor who she had to transfer it to, but was then also dismissed by the courts. So now we have moved to the next phase of this. It's definitely not over for Fonnie. You may say it's just getting started because a new law that was passed in Georgia says that her office may have to reimburse all 19 defendants for their attorney's fees, which could go into 10, 15, or even more $1 million, y'all. That could be over half of her budget. Okay, we're gonna be talking about that today. But there's something that in our previous video we touched on, but I didn't go, there was one angle that you really need to know that at the time it didn't dawn on me. After I finished the video, I was like, oh yeah, I should have said that. Like it was just, something that didn't come up at that time. So we're gonna be talking about today how this law was written and how this will affect whether or not Fonnie has to pay out. And also we're going to be taking a look at another creator, Megan Grout. She has a breakdown of this on her channel. I'll be including a link in the description. And I want to respond to a couple of things because I think everybody is overlooking something. So let's get started, y'all. Donald Trump's attorney, he recently, just yesterday, appeared on the news talking about all the millions that Fonnie is going to be owing to Trump. But I'm going to pop in. I'm going to give y'all something to think about, y'all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
Charges dropped, but the case is not yet closed in the Georgia election interference case involving President Donald Trump and his co-defendants. And earlier today, I exclusively sat down with President Trump's lead attorney in this case here in Georgia, Steve Sadow, who said that he plans to seek millions of dollars in legal fees from the office of District Attorney Fonnie Willis on behalf of his client. A new state law that went into effect this year says he can do that because Willis was disqualified from the case. I asked him if taxpayers should be responsible in footing that bill.
This money that goes to attorneys' fees and costs comes out of Fonnie Willis's budget. It's already been allotted. Taxpayers aren't paying anything in addition. It's unfortunate that her budget will be so affected, but she's the one that brought the case, and she's the one that has to live with the outcome.
Okay, so now I'm going to bring on the creator, the YouTuber, and also defense attorney extraordinaire, Megan Grout. I want you to listen to her explanation of why Fonnie has to pay this money and how Ms. Grout says, look, there are two boxes that the Trump defense needs to check in order to get their money back. and they check both boxes. But I'm going to come in and say, I don't necessarily know that that's true, y'all. I think this may be a little bit more difficult than other people seem to think, including Ms. Grout. So take a look at what she says here.
The statute in Georgia that they will be seeking attorney's fees under is brand new. It was only enacted back in May of 2025, and so it's never been road tested before. We've never really seen it in action. We don't know how courts interpret it and how that plays out into the county, but it is going to make a lot of people really pissed off in a short amount of time. So let me break down the statute for you. Here it is. Don't worry, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but this is what you need to know. It's statute 1711-6. And in order to qualify for attorney's fees, you have to have two different things that have to have happened. Number one, the prosecuting attorney has to have been disqualified for improper conduct. And we know that in the case of Fani Willis and Nathan Wade, they have been disqualified. It was decided by the Court of Appeals, and the Supreme Court decided not to hear it. So we check the box on number one. They have been disqualified due to improper conduct. Number two, then the criminal case itself had to have been dismissed by a court or subsequent prosecutor who was tasked with prosecuting the case after the first prosecutor had been disqualified. Again, we can check the box because it was dismissed. The motion to dismiss was filed by the subsequent prosecuting attorney, Peter Skandalakis, and then that was signed off on by the court.
So, y'all, this is the thing. This is the key part that I think people keep missing, or maybe I'm just out in left field and maybe I'm wrong. But Fani Willis was not dismissed for misconduct or for wrongdoing. She was dismissed for the appearance of misconduct, as I said in my previous video.
Yeah, I got to agree right there. And please, tomorrow we're going to have Megan Grout on. Please, I want to ask her that question. Hold me to it and ask. I don't think Fani Willis was found to have done something directly wrong. It's just that it was the appearance of doing something wrong. To me, that's like trying to split hairs. But I know that that's the verbiage that they used. And even when the initial Scott McAfee even brought it up, it was brought up as the appearance of wrong when everybody was like, wait, we can see there was something done wrong. So I don't know. I'm kind of agreeing here with Paralegal Institute. I don't know if they're actually going to be pegged with they did something wrong, because the reason that she was disqualified was from the appearance, not for actually doing something wrong. Because if she had done something wrong, you know what else would happen? Her bar license would be up for discussion. So that's not the case. Nobody's talking about her bar license because she did something wrong, felonious or whatever of that nature. I don't know about that one. So I'll be looking forward to hearing that, and I want to make sure I ask Megan tomorrow.
So I am not convinced that the box is checked that she was dismissed for misconduct. In fact, it is quite clear that she was dismissed because it appeared that she may have done something wrong, but there was never a finding that she actually did something wrong. So I think when this comes to court, Fani and them, they're going to challenge that. I think they're going to say, hey, the law says I must have been dismissed for misconduct, but I wasn't dismissed for misconduct. I was dismissed according to the court because it appeared that I may have committed misconduct. And frankly, I think on the first level, on the trial court level, I think the trial court is likely to go along with that, y'all.
What's interesting is the statute uses the word shall be entitled, meaning it's not up to them to prove to a jury that they should get them. The statute says you're going to get attorney's fees.
I think the trial court has an easy out because they're going to be looking at, yo, if we award these attorney's fees, half of her budget's gone. Right now, I'm not saying that the court's supposed to look at it like that, but you know, they're going to be looking at a pretty big number, and they're going to say, look, the law says she has to have been dismissed for misconduct, but there was never a finding. There was never an official judge's ruling on whether she did something wrong. The ruling was, it looked like she may have done something wrong. And in this case, it was so, if she did do something wrong, it would have been so egregious that she can't stay on the case. But that's much different. That's much different from actually having done something wrong. So y'all let me know, what do you think about that analysis? If you step back and you think about this like a judge, right? Not do you think that Fonnie did something wrong? That's not the question. The question is, according to the law, she has to have been dismissed for doing something wrong, but no judge ever found that she actually did something wrong. You got it? Now, let's say that this does go through, and let's just say for now that the judge is going to award these attorneys' fees. How much could it be?
We have seen, I've been reading the news, speculation that it could be in the $10 million mark in terms of claims, maybe more, maybe less. That doesn't mean Judge McAfee is going to award $10 million in attorney's fees back to these defendants, but we're looking at a very big number, frankly.
So one other way that this could really come down on Fonnie is if particularly lawyers, people in Fulton County, people who know the law, say, you know what, Fonnie, we want you to have to personally be on the hook for your bad decisions. So that's Fulton County was forced to pay over 10, 15, 20 million dollars. Now we're going to come after you personally because you were the person who had committed the misconduct, and because you are the person who caused this calamity to befall Fulton County. We want you to pay. We want to come after your personal assets to recoup whatever we can recoup, whether it's $500,000, whether it's $1 million, whether it's $25,000. So that's something also that is on the line at this point. And frankly, I think it's going to go there. If the judge awards all of this money out of the Fulton County budget, it's going to be a disaster. And I think people will sue Fonnie personally in an attempt to recoup.
And
that's going to be crazy because I don't know if you know, but Fulton County has had a lot of problems as it relates to the budget in the DA's office. Don't quote me on this, but I want to say their budget this year was only like $32 million. I know, right? I just said only, but $32 million. So just think about it. If they end up getting $10 million from Fonnie, just 10, that's a third of her budget. Now, they're using the word tens, plural. Come on, man. They're about to bankrupt that girl. And look, she deserves it. She deserves it. But I just think that is crazy work right there. So that's something to keep your eyes on. We definitely want to ask Megan tomorrow when she comes on about this. And maybe, because this video is from like Monday, if I'm not mistaken, where she's right here on the screen. I think it's from Monday. So a couple things have changed since Monday. So hopefully new information has come out. That is going to be crazy. Yeah, let's go.
This is where I see the chaos ensuing because this is unacceptable. I'm the one that says, hey, Fonnie, how much is your house worth? Hey, Nathan, how much is your house worth? Let's start selling off some stuff. And we're going to talk about that in another video. But my personal opinion is when a prosecutor screws up this badly, why do the taxpayers have to shoulder the responsibility for this?
So y'all, I am going to make some predictions. This is a major legal prediction. Trump and them, they are going to file, if they haven't already, they're going to file for attorney fees back. They're going to file for attorney's fees back. The judge is going to review the record and the judge is going to look at the law. The law says Fonnie must have been removed for misconduct. The judge is going to look at, why was Fonnie removed? Because it appeared that she maybe had done something wrong. And the judge, I predict, is going to rule looking like you did something wrong is not the same as a finding that you did something wrong. So I think the judge is either going to reject the attorney's fees on that grounds, or the judge is going to allow for Trump and them to argue that Fonnie did something wrong. And then the judge himself is going to have to make a finding that, yes, she did do something wrong. But I do not see that this payout will come under the appearance of impropriety because the law doesn't allow for that. It only allows for payout for impropriety. Y'all let me know, what do you think? Do y'all follow my reasoning? Okay, this isn't about what I hope happens or what I don't hope happens. This is more about what I think's gonna happen. Let me know, y'all, are y'all with me or not? Drop a comment down below, but before you do, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. I want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all. And we'll see you back in the next one.
All right. Shout out to Paralegal Institute. I'm kind of conflicted. I know, I see and understand, and I don't like that that language of the appearance of impropriety or whatever like that. I think Fonnie did something wrong. I do think that. I'm kind of a cut and dry, black and white type of guy. I think Fonnie Willis did something wrong. And it was so wrong that the case that she was leading, the case that Nathan Wade was leading, got torpedoed. That's how I feel. Now, does that mean that the way I feel about it is the right way? I'm not 100% certain on that. So tomorrow, like I said, we have Megan Grout coming on. She's going to talk about that, and I would love to ask her. And hopefully some more has come up pertaining to it, and we can get a little bit more clarity and get a little bit more guidance and whatnot and kind of see where it's going to go. There's a lot that's going to have to happen well before this. So we might not be talking about anytime soon. We might be talking about, I don't know, maybe another year. Who knows? Is it something cut and dry that is going there and decide and is done in 2 days? I don't think so, because I got a feeling they're going to be fighting about it, especially if they found that Fonnie does end up having to pay. It's going to be a mess. So anyway, y'all, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I threw out some memberships. Shout out to, I got some more. Can we get these likes up? Get my likes looking right. And we'll do the next 5. Absolutely. I got 152 likes. We got better than 300 people watching. Let's go ahead and get that up there. Let's go. So tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Megan Grout's coming on. Young lady has been doing defense attorney work here in Atlanta for a long time. She's Georgia bred, so we got a lot to talk about. I'm looking forward to her coming on and sharing her insights and such like that. So y'all check us out tomorrow. And of course, if you're not able to, then we will definitely make sure that you have access to the conversation so you can check it out. All right, let us get back to it. All right, now we got to shift. We're going to have to shift them gears back down. We're going back, shifting gears down. We are going to talk about Candace. But I think we're going to talk about Candace in a way that I have not heard anyone discuss as of yet. And I was actually impressed. Somebody sent me this video. And let me take a little second real quick. If you send me a video and I don't say, I don't shout you out, or you send me a link, please, 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 please charge it to my head, not to my heart. And if you send me a video and 12 other people send it to me, just know your boy over here, I'm going to take a picture of my desk one day and show y'all what my desk look like. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got screen work going on over here. If I don't give you a shout out, it is not because I don't want to give you credit. I try my best to, but a lot of the time I get overwhelmed with some of the stuff I'm trying to put out for y'all. So I do apologize. Somebody sent me this video. I don't know who it was, and I really appreciate them. I even put it out on my Discord. I even sent it to the mods. I said, I don't know who sent me this video, but God bless them. Okay, let me make sure I got the guy's background right. He's formerly involved in the mafioso. He's a former mobster. He has a podcast. And he took an angle as relates to Candace Owens I yet have heard anybody talk about. I was like, this is novel. Even I have not said anything like what this man said. And I was like, yo, this is impressive. So I want to bring it on. I'm going to bring it on. I want y'all to check it out. Let me make sure I got his name right. I'll pull it up. His name is Michael Frizzali. Shout out to him, man. He seems like I just subscribed to his channel. I just found it today. Somebody sent me this link Monday, I think it was. And I'm like, I didn't even pay attention to it. Happened to watch it today. I was like thrown back. Like, how did I let this slide by? I was just so thankful I didn't leave it alone because it was really good. Okay, Jason, just share it. Stop talking. Franzese, Michael, I'll drop the link to this video in the chat. Let me stop talking. I'm gonna bring it up, but I had never heard anybody talk about this. This topic related to Candace, I've yet to hear anybody talk about it. So with no further ado.
As a husband, why would you let it get to that point? Why wouldn't you sit her down as your equal, your wife, and say, listen, I'm worried about you. Enough is enough. If the government is hiding something, she's not going to uncover it. We couldn't uncover John F. Kennedy's true assassination. And I know there's a lot more to it. It's been 63 years and we can't get to the bottom of it. Martin Luther King, the same thing. Robert F. Kennedy, the same thing. Jimmy Hoffa, the same thing. If people don't want you empowered to get to the answers, you're not going to get to it. Period. She's not going to do it. If the United States government, like she alleges, and the Israeli government, like she alleges, is behind this in some way, you're not going to prove it. It's not going to come out. So why are you doing all of this? What's your end game?
Wow.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Francis. Hope everybody is doing well. All is very good, very blessed on this end. As always, my friends, I give all the praise, honor, glory, and thanksgiving to our God for that, especially through this holiday season. Candace Owens. Mention that name and what happens? People perk up, rightfully so. She's done a tremendous job in building her platform. No question about it. I give her a lot of credit for it. I know how difficult it is to build a platform on YouTube, and she's done a masterful job, no question. Whether you agree with her, disagree with her, doesn't matter. You got to give her props. She's done what she's done. But I made two posts on my X platform, and I stated something that I believe to be true. And the reason I made two posts, I'm going to tell you why. First post, I said that Candace Owens has now become the object of a lot of scorn and vitriol and hate online. And even death threats, according to her. She's getting death threats now out of France. And I held her husband responsible for that. I said he should have never allowed it to get to a point where his wife is facing these kind of problems. And I got, 500,000 views on that. And I got a lot of people that agreed with me and a lot of people that vehemently disagreed with me. And basically what they were saying, and you get a lot of silly comments, but basically what they were saying is, how do you talk about a guy controlling his wife? They use the word control. And I responded to some of the comments, and we'll go through some of them. And I tried to explain myself. I said, maybe you don't understand what I'm saying. I said, the woman has gotten to a point where she's got death threats on her now. She's got a lot of vitriol and hate, and a lot of people are just knocking her online. And I said, it's a husband's job to protect her. And at some point, he should not have permitted it to get to that point. He's got influence over her. Well, I responded to that video after I read some of the comments, and I clarified it. And I said, hold on. I stand by what I'm saying. I hold him responsible for allowing it to get to this point, because I believe it's a husband's job to protect his wife and his family at all costs. And I think at some point he should have stepped in and said, hang on, enough. I'm hearing all this feedback online. People are upset with you. They're calling you names. There's hatred coming. There's vitriol coming. I don't like it. And now there's a death threat from France. According to her, she stated this. And people were saying to me, he doesn't have control over her, and how dare you say that? She's her own person. She's independent. She's doing what she wants to do. She has a voice. I agree with all that. She's independent. She has a voice. She can do all of that. Whether we agree with her or not is not the issue. But her husband should have stepped in. And people say, well, he has no control over her. I said, well, yes, he does. According to her own words, yes, he does. And what do I mean by that? She stated publicly, and you can look it up, I would only stop doing what I'm doing with respect to Charlie Kirk and some of the other things that she's doing, calling people out, if either Erica Kirk or my husband told me to stop. Well, obviously he never did. Maybe now he did, now that she's got a death threat, and said, hey, enough. I don't know. I'm not in their home. I don't know what they discuss. But I believe he let it get to a point where he shouldn't have. And what I stated was this. This is not a question of controlling your wife. It's a question of controlling the situation. Now, he obviously has influence on her. Well, how do I know that? Well, she said it. He would have told me to stop. I would have stopped. But obviously he didn't. And she was once a Christian, and he is a Catholic, and she became a Catholic as a result of her marrying him. Nothing wrong with that. Christians, Catholic, they still believe in the foundation of our faith, which is that Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. But obviously he has influence over her. And maybe that's a better word to use. Not control, because I didn't mean it that he was controlling her, but I meant that he was controlling the situation. When you see that your wife is becoming the object of scorn and ridicule and vitriol and hate, how do you just stand by? I mean, they have 4 children together, all young children. And now it's got to a point where the Macrons allegedly, this is her word, she said it publicly, I'm not saying it, I don't know if it's true or not, but I understand it even got to the White House. They didn't verify it. I don't think they took a position on whether it was true or not, but the information made it even to the White House somehow. So maybe there's some validity behind it. I don't know. Listen, I get death threats. You don't know. Some of them are real. Some of them, they're just out there. But the point is they're happening. And I said, it's a husband's number one job to protect his wife. How do you let it get to that point? And then I went a step further. And I said, listen, if she believes that, there's an assassination plot that's deeper than what they're alleging right now, what the investigation had covered to this point, fine. That's her friend. Do whatever you need to do. Investigate it. Do whatever you need to do. I have no issue with that. But some of the things she's done, she's brought a lot of vitriol against herself. Now, is it warranted? I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that people should go off on her because she's had a certain point. I mean, maybe if she insulted people, they can come back and respond to that. But I'm not advocating violence against her or hatred against her in any way. I don't think that's right at all. So I'm not saying that anything that's happening to her is justified. I'm not saying that. But I'm on social media too. I understand that you can say things that can cause people to be pretty upset. And in today's world, there are a lot of loose cannons out there. So my point is, you need to protect your wife. I'm sorry. There is a point when you sit her down and say, hey, enough. This is getting to a point where, number one, I can't sit back and listen to people saying such horrible things about my wife and ridiculing my wife and calling her names and spewing out hatred on her. I can't do that. And now it's even gone to a point where possible hit out on you? No, I can't do that. As a husband, you needed to bring it to a halt. I maintain that position. I won't get off of that. I agree with that 1,000%. I can never sit by and watch my wife be the object of scorn and hatred and vitriol and, God forbid, a contract, none of which is justified. She has a right to say what she wants to say online. If people want to respond to her, that's one thing. But the hatred and all this stuff, I don't agree with any of that. And she shouldn't be the object of any of that. I'm not saying it's justified, but hey, we live in the real world. We know what social media is all about. It happens. And he should have protected her. That's my position. But when I made the second video and people kind of understood when I clarified, I didn't change my position at all. I just clarified it because for some reason, both men and women were offended by the word control. And I want to explain this too. If a man, a husband, is doing something that could possibly jeopardize himself or his family in any way, then the wife has every right to sit him down and say, hey, what are you doing? I know darn well if I was doing something that jeopardized my family and my wife knew, she'd be the first one to say, hey, cut it out or stop or you've done enough. Done enough. End it. I'm finished with it. And I want to bring up another point. The world doesn't need another wine. It really needs a reason to raise a glass again. A reason that's real. A reason that means something.
Let me cut
because
this
most
part
people,
out.
they
Sorry,
drink to
y'all.
forget. We drink to remember. Never. Salute. It obviously all started with the Charlie Kirk murder. Let me tell you this. I don't care how good of an investigator she thinks she is. I don't care. She's never going to get to the bottom of this. Never. If the government is hiding something, she's not going to uncover it. We couldn't uncover John F. Kennedy's true assassination. And I know there's a lot more to it. It's been 63 years and we can't get to the bottom of it. Martin Luther King, the same thing. Robert F. Kennedy, the same thing. Jimmy Hoffa, the same thing. If people don't want you in power to get to the answers, you're not going to get to it. Period. She's not going to do it. If that's her real motive, it's not going to happen. So as her husband, I'd say, hey, wake up. Where are you going with this? What's your motive? Where are you going? You alone are not going to prove this. It's not going to happen. If the United States government, like she alleges, and the Israeli government, like she alleges, is behind this in some way, you're not going to prove it. It's not going to come out. So why are you doing all of this? What's your end game? And somebody said, well, I'm going to read some of the comments. Well, because she wants to enlighten people about how bad the government could be. Like, I don't know that. Like, people don't know that at this point. I wrote a book, Mafia Democracy. You're preaching to the choir. As a matter of fact, I know more than you with respect to the government and how shady and underhanded they could be. And I think most people get it now. So if that's your motive, well, you already accomplished that. Now it's time to back off. Now I understand she had to take a break from the internet because she was concerned about this alleged death threat on her life. Well, as her husband, why would you let it get to that point? Why wouldn't you sit her down as your equal, your wife, and say, listen, I'm worried about you. Enough is enough. It's time to shut it down. You're not going to prove anything. It's time to shut it down. We have 4 children, and we have a marriage, and we have a life. And I don't care how much you love Charlie Kirk. You're not going to get to the bottom of this. So I'm your husband now. I come first. Enough. Why would he do that? Because he's protecting her, protecting his marriage and his kids. There is a time when you can, as a consensus, you come together and you say, that's enough. Now, That's my belief, and I stand by it, and I'll say it again. I would never, ever sit back and let my wife be the object of such vitriol and hatred and abuse online. People calling her all sorts of names. She's lost her mind. She's this, she's that. And of course, listen, she brought a lot of this on herself because there's other things that she said, other things about Protestants. There was other things that she said about other people. I'm not going to get into all of that. Whether it's right or wrong, true or false, it doesn't matter. And I am not commenting on that. I'm commenting only on what she stated. Right, wrong, indifferent. I'm not commenting on it. So get it straight, because I know I'll get a lot of people, saying silly things that I said she's wrong. I'm not saying anything about what she's trying to do. I'm not saying there's not more to the Charlie Kirk murder. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying a lot of the stuff that she's saying is false or true or anything else. I'm only commenting on her husband's obligation at some point to say, enough. You put yourself in a tough position here. Enough. I'm not going to stand by and wait. Maybe I'm walking down the street and somebody's going to throw something at you or spit at you, or you have to worry when you're out alone in a parking lot. I'm not going to do that because there's lunatics also on social media, and you've made a lot of enemies. I have a question for all you guys out there. Before I show you this video, I have a question. Candace Owens has now become the object of a hit on her, according to her. She's also gone silent on social media for a while because she said she needed to. She's also become the object of vitriol, hatred, ridicule, and scorn in big numbers. Don't take my word for it. Go on social media. She's put herself in that position. But she said, if my husband told me to stop, I would stop. Her husband did not tell her to stop, and that's the position she's in. For you men out there, how would you feel if your wife was in the position of Candace Owens right now? Ladies, I ask you the same question. How would you feel if you were in Candace Owens' position right now, where she allegedly had to go cold on social media for a while because, according to her, there's a hit out on her. Her life is in jeopardy. How would you feel if your husband, you're in a marriage, if he did nothing to rein it in and to try to stop you, when all he had to do, according to Candace, and probably according to you, is say, I don't want you to do this anymore. You're jeopardizing your life, our marriage, our children. Stop. How would you feel if you were in her position right now and your husband could have stopped it? I asked the ladies that, and I asked the guys. How would you feel to have your wife in that position? Would you have done something to stop it? We're going to show you video number 1. I'm going to read some of the comments, and then we're going to show you video number 2 that I wrote to follow it. Between the two of them, like 1 million people responded. So this is something that people have strong feelings about, very strong feelings about. So I think it's very appropriate that we talk about it on this platform also, since we've gotten such a reaction on X platform. Hey, everyone. Candace Owens has certainly been a hot topic of conversation over the past couple of months on social media. I would say ever since Charlie Kirk was tragically murdered back in September. And I'm not going to comment on some of her theories and the things that she said about that and about the Macrons and other people. If that's what her thing is, then that's what her thing is. She certainly, seemed to want to become the #1 podcaster. So she created a lot of controversy. That's what does it seems. But here's what I have to say. Her husband, why would he allow her to do this? Because she is really getting a lot of hate mail. A lot of people are turning on her, really putting her in a situation where people are hating on her. Why would you allow your wife to be put in that position? I would never put my wife in that position, not for social media, not for money, not for anything. To be so hated. I mean, she's out there, she's in public. She's claiming now that the Macrons have, a hit out on her. They want to assassinate her. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just normal people on social media that have really turned on her and really have spewed hatred out on her. Why would you allow your wife to be put in that position? I hold him fully responsible. I would never put my wife in that position to where people hate on her so much because of what she's doing on social media. I think that's, 100% wrong on his part. And I don't know what their motive is. He's got plenty of money. They don't need money. It was him that I believe caused her to leave the Christian church or become a Catholic. It's still Christianity, but, she turned to Catholicism. He seems to have a lot of pull over her. Why would he put her in jeopardy like that? I hold him 100% responsible if something would have happened to her. Any lunatic could take a shot at her for whatever reason. But she set herself up for it. No one to blame but her. And I hold him responsible. I hope nothing happens to her. But in my view, 100% responsible, not manly, not what a husband should be doing, not one bit. All right, you saw the video. Now let's get into some of the comments. I'm not going to name the names of people. I don't put people on Front Street. But here's one.
Names
this is a good
named.
one. Spot on, Michael. No matter how much of a fighter I'd want to be, I just cannot imagine my husband allowing so many people to disrespect me online and to endanger my life while doing so. I just can't picture in my head him knowing that and being like, this is fine. But this is how masculine and feminine polarity works. She's a great woman, but she's more in her masculine and therefore would be with a man more compatible to that. No woman in her soft feminine would attract a man that allows her to argue on the internet to a degree that it puts her life and potentially their kid's life at risk. And this is what she's saying. Candace is saying her life is at risk. It's not other people saying that. And what this woman said is spot on. She said it as well or better than I did. She can't understand her husband ever putting her in that position or allowing her to get herself in that position. Okay, here's another woman. The comments section taught a great lesson. It's only you, meaning me, and Zionists that hate real Candace Owens. The rest of the world loves her. What did I say I hated Candace Owens? I'm a Zionist? Why am I a Zionist? Where did that come out of what I just posted up there? You saw what I posted. But I hate Candace Owens. She has no clue what she's talking about. Yet she says, I hate her. These are the comments. Look at the post and then comment intelligently. Zionist. Here's another one. Damn, Mike, Israel got to you too? After PBD, Patrick Bet-David, was compromised, it only makes sense. How did Israel get to me when I'm talking about her husband protecting her from all the vitriol that she's receiving online? What did that have to do with anything? These people comment. I don't even understand where they're coming from. Israel got to me. Why am I so important that Israel is going to get to me? Yeah, Netanyahu is going to send people to talk to me, like I make a difference in his life or Israel's existence. It's so inane. It doesn't even make sense. But this is what you have on social media. Instead of commenting, hey, it's not her husband's job or whatever, you make some ridiculous, nonsensical comment like that. Here's another one. So if people hate you for telling the truth, you should shut up? No, that's not how it works. Your logic is flawed. What does that mean? What I'm saying is, again, she's the subject of vitriol, and now she claims her life is in danger. So when do you stop? When does the husband jump in and say, hey, enough? You're endangering your life and the life of our family, and maybe our marriage. Enough. But what is she saying? My logic is flawed in that? Let me ask you, ladies, don't you want your husband to be protective of you? If you were doing something that might be on the verge of endangering yourself, should your husband not say something to you? Should he not say, hey, enough? You made your point here. You're not the FBI. You're not an investigator. You're not going to get to the bottom of this. Enough. We have a marriage. We have kids. And I love you. I love you. I don't want you walking out in the street and somebody throwing, hatred at you and spewing vitriol at you. Isn't that what a man is supposed to do? People have lost sight of what a man and a husband are supposed to be. That's not controlling your wife. That's caring for your wife. That's loving your wife. That's protecting your wife. I don't understand the logic in some of these people, the comments that they make. Not me. There's another comment. He's a supportive husband. Imagine the pillow talk in that household. Another guy would have committed her or divorced her, but he's stuck in there because that's true love. Really? Stuck in there for what? He's sitting back while his wife is on there getting a lot of people to hate her. Let me be clear and say everybody. But enough. Go on social media. A lot of people have turned on this woman. And she says her life is in danger. She said it. She claimed it. When is enough enough? That's loving your wife by allowing that to continue? By not talking her out of it? By not sitting her down saying enough? That's loving her? Oh, I'll let you go on there, honey. And don't worry about it. Keep it up. No problem. If they hate you, they hate you. If they spit at you when you're walking down the street, it's okay. If they put a hit on you from France, that's okay. Don't worry about it. What kind of flawed logic is that? Because we lose track and sight of what men are supposed to be like. I don't understand these comments. Another one. Candace Owens is an outspoken political commentator. No man, including her husband, is going to muzzle her. Well, let me tell you this. Candace Owens' own words. She said, the only way I will stop is if Erica Kirk or my husband tells me to stop. Which means he hasn't. Which means he's irresponsible. Which means he's allowed his wife to become the object of hate and vitriol and possible put her life in danger. He's done nothing to stop it. So yeah, I'm calling him out. That's not what a husband does. I'm not doubting you love your wife. You're just not acting the way you're supposed to act with your wife, towards your wife, protecting your wife. It's millions of Americans who are sick of Trump giving Netanyahu a blank check to bomb Gaza and oppose Trump's involvement in the Israel Iran conflict. I thought you were MAGAs. I thought you MAGAs were all about America first. What does that have to do with anything? She made her comment about that. A lot of people disagree with what's going on in Israel. What does that have to do with anything? Because you're probably an anti-Semite, you make a comment like that? I'm talking about her husband protecting her. That's what this was about. Another one, because he loves and supports his wife and doesn't believe it's his right to allow her to do anything. He loves her and in turn supports what passion she chooses to pursue. It's called a good husband. No, that's not called a good husband. A good husband protects his wife. If a wife is going outside of where she should be going, he's supposed to tell her, and vice versa. You know how many times my wife checks me sometimes? Hey, you know what you're doing? You sure? There's nothing wrong with that. I'll pay attention to my wife. I'll listen to her. If I disagree with her, I'll tell her. But what's wrong? You're supposed to do that. That's what a relationship is all about. You watch one another. You protect one another. This is not only a one-way street. A wife can do that with her husband too if he's making a mistake. That's what marriage is about. It's about protecting one another, loving one another. You don't love somebody by allowing them to do whatever the hell they want, putting themselves in danger. And remember, it's her own words. She's the one saying she's in danger. She's the one that says a hit is out on her. And the vitriol coming online against her is to a point where enough. You don't know what true love is, my friend. If you think allowing your spouse to do anything that he wants or she wants is true love, no, not when it comes to their protection and their safety. Oh, here's another good one. You're retarded. I'm retarded for wanting to protect my wife and wanting Candace's husband to protect her. That's being retarded. Says a lot about you. I'm not going to mention your name. I don't put you on Front Street. Okay, here's another one. Because George doesn't own Candace. Okay, she's made it very clear that nothing matters more than truth and righteousness, and that she won't cower to bullies who clearly have something to hide. Charlie wasn't some random influencer. He was like a brother to her. They basically grew up and forged their careers together, so she's supposed to just sit back and let some BS slop full of holes, lies, and anomalies pass by after watching her friend get publicly executed. Only a sellout would do that. Is Erica Kirk a sellout? Is she a sellout? Answer that question. That's his wife. She's not out there doing all of this. Are you saying that Candace Owens cares more about Charlie Kirk than Erica Kirk does? Are you saying that? And Candace Owens' statement was, the only way I'll stop right now, if you were in that position and your husband sat by and let it happen, because he did let it happen, because she said he could have stopped it. Please let me hear from you.
My friends, a recent post I made about Candace Owens, I believe needs some clarification. When I stated that her husband is in great part responsible for what she's dealing with now, possible death threats, scorn, ridicule, and hatred online from thousands of people, I meant it. But when I said control, I am not saying anything out of turn. Candace Owens, in her own words on her platform, stated that the only way I would stop what I'm doing is if my husband told me to stop. He didn't, and as a result, she is dealing with all the stuff I just mentioned. So he did have control over her and the situation, not controlling her life, and don't take it to the extreme. But when you see your spouse, your girlfriend, your significant other, possibly getting into a situation that could be detrimental to her, you control it. You step in. You tell her, hey, enough. And let me tell you this. Candace Owens, she can do whatever she wants. She has a right to get on there. Charlie Kirk was her friend. She has a right to investigate. I respect her. She's an intelligent woman. I may not agree with everything she's saying, but I don't fault her for getting on her platform and saying whatever she believes to be true. But let me tell you this. She's never going to prove that Charlie Kirk was murdered by Mossad or anything else. If the government wants to hide it, they're going to hide it. We still don't know the truth about John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King or a score of other things or Jeffrey Epstein or any of that. So when it comes to a point where now it's getting her in trouble, that her life is in danger, I think it's time to put a stop to it. And her husband should have stepped in and done exactly that. And he didn't do it. And as a result, she's dealing with some serious consequences. I don't know if it's true or not, but she claims there's death threats on her. And she's certainly the object of scorn and ridicule and hatred online. Who knows what that can lead to? Her husband should have stepped in and controlled the situation. So that's what I meant. And for you guys out there that's saying, you don't control your woman, that's what I meant. You protect your woman. And the same way a woman can protect her man, her husband, if he's doing something that could jeopardize himself. It's a mutual agreement. It's not what you say, and I stand behind that 100%. Her husband should have stepped in and controlled the situation. She wouldn't be dealing with what she's dealing with right now.
You saw the video. All right, my friends, that's it. I know I get a little worked up because I don't understand how people think. I just don't. But you heard it. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Really love to hear from you on this. We need men to be men. Period. They are the protectors. They are. They're the patriarchs. They're the protectors. and they need to act like that with your wife, with your girlfriend, with your fiance, with your kids. We are men. That's our job. It's not demeaning to women. How do I always leave you? Same way. Be safe. Be healthy. God bless each and every one of you through this holiday season, your families, your friends, your communities, and your neighborhoods. And God bless America. And yes, I'll see you all next time. Take care.
All right, so this is Michael Frezine. I apologize. The moderators dropped the link in the chat. I just thought that was a really good, salient response, because I haven't heard anybody talk about what is George's response in this, his responsibility in this. And, shout out to him. And I know that I've been reading the comments. Looks like a lot of people have some different landings, some different places. But I'm right there with Mike. I agree with him 100%. And you could see it if we flipped it on the other way. If George was doing something that would put his family in jeopardy, everybody would be supporting Candace and telling her that he's putting his life and his family in jeopardy by doing this whatever extreme sport or whatever like that. So just flip it in the exact same way is the same thing. But shout out, yes. Let me look at some of these supers real quick before we end. And shout out to, and whenever you hear me talk about, by the way, I say that my mentor, somebody that I look up to in the live streaming world, it's the lead attorney. And shout out to the lead attorney is in the chat. Could y'all please let Lead know if he's still here? Let him know that we really appreciate him, because he's been a blessing to y'all by de facto, but to me directly. Shout out to Lead. Y'all just put TLA up in the chat. Shout out to him. All right, let's get over these real quick. Thank you so much for the $2 super sticker, Emily. I appreciate you, friend. MT says this: I had Candace fatigue, so I left for a few days. Well, thank you for the $2 super. And guess what? We're still here. And goodness gracious, we'll probably be here next time too. Thank you again for another $2. He says this: Candace Kardashian will keep twerking for clicks. Y'all are wild. Y'all are absolutely wild. Shout out to Captain Jackson the 5. Candace wondered why Tyler Robinson's lawyer hadn't called her, which is crazy work, right? It's because they realize she is crazy as their client. See, I see what you did there. The back guano is real. Thank you so much for the $5 super. For sure. What is Avengers Assemble says this with the 5? George is complicit in her madness. Very bad on both of them. I mean, find it. Where's the lie? Where's the lie in that? All right. They addressed her from government. Thank you for the $2, Emily. I don't think anybody addressed her, because I don't believe she really reached out to these people. I got a video from Tim Pool, and he looked at it like she's making these claims. But then later on, she admits, like, well, yeah, I didn't really go through the proper channels. I just text a friend in the FBI. Like that doesn't work. So I don't think anybody's going to address her. I think the most we're going to hear is what TP USA had said. Thank you so much, Captain Jacks, for the $10 super. Says this: I was a cop for 30 years and still carry a pew every day. I can protect myself. However, if my husband allowed anyone to speak to me negatively or wasn't protective of me, I wouldn't be with him. Shout out to Mr. Captain Jacks. Absolutely. I'm sure he does a great job. Thank you so much for that. Emily's a brand new member. Shout out to you. Shout out. Welcome. Everybody say what's up to Emily. Did Lead pop back in? I'd love to hear what Lead has to say. I don't know. He might have popped in and said he's always on the run, but thank you so much. Needless to say, I'm just looking through here real quick. I don't see the Lead, my hombre. If I get a chance, I'll see if he wants to come through. And maybe we can get him to come in and talk about Fonnie. He lives here in Atlanta with me. He know about Fonnie. Maybe I'll reach out to him and say, hey man, you want to talk about Fonnie on here? We want to talk about this Fonnie thing. But anyway, I want to say thank y'all so much. Okay, y'all. All right. I'm putting my hat in my hand.
Why would you let it get to that point? Why?
I didn't mean to do that. I'm putting my hat in my hand, y'all. You know why I'm putting my hat in my hand? Because I said, here's my hat in my hand. I said, if she goes live and talks about TPUSA, I'm gonna give her credit. Well, she gonna be talking about TPUSA. So okay. All right. She wants y'all to know that this show is live. She said, look, I'm gonna make sure y'all know this show is a live show. Okay. If that's what you say, Candace, whatever. All right, so that's what they're about 10 minutes out. So we'll see real quick. Let me just see. What y'all think about Mike's commentary? What y'all think about Mike in the role of a husband protecting his wife? What did you think about that? Okay, wait. I think it's totally possible, entirely possible her husband has told her to stop and she refuses. Does anyone think that anyone can stop Candace Owens? Now, I understand what Mike was saying. Mike was saying, like, look, she said if her husband told her to stop, she would. Now, I do understand what you're saying as well, because I don't think she would, even if her husband did tell her to stop. For sure. Oh, here comes. The Pentagon press secretary said they are not aware of any French assassination plot against Candace. That is hilarious. Really? Absolutely. We already saw that. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, we watched that a little bit earlier. TPUSA, they put the challenge out there. They said, hey, why don't you come on out here to Arizona? I guarantee you she's going to come up with some lyrical gymnastics to try to get away from that. I guarantee you. All right. I don't think we should spread rumor about Candace's husband. We don't want to be like her. Are we spreading a rumor when we say the husband is responsible to protect his wife? I mean, think about it, man. You're watching your wife get drugged through the social media streets. And it's because she's downstairs in the basement talking mad reckless. Is that okay? I don't think that's starting a rumor. That's just making a pretty clear statement. I mean, what's the rumor on that, though? He was right. Shout out for short. Absolutely. Candace, I thought you were close to Charlie Kirk's killer. Oh, guess not. I mean, really? I mean, that's our job as husbands, to protect our wives. Yeah, see, Betsy B, see, you with me. See, she already had that video done. So she rushed and got a video out to speak on this. Or they added a caveat at the end and they just made the thumbnail look like it was what they're going to talk about directly off the bat. And she's going to do a little opening. She's going to talk about it, but she's going to talk about the majority of what we'll probably see it. We'll probably see where the edits happen. Long considered as a postpartum since she lacks regard for her family's safety. That is a good point. A lot of people have mentioned this from early on, even with the Macrons, that there's probably some hormonal imbalances. I don't know, so I'm not going to speak directly on that, but I got you. Megan said it best. Some people wake up every day looking to make new enemies. Wow. Yes. We looked at TP USA's response. I opened up the show with that. Yeah, I mean, there's probably more truth than air to that S-Files. I agree. He's the producer of the show. Yeah, I mean, I somebody gonna have to prove you wrong, I guess. I agree with you. I mean, it's possible he did tell her and she just said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it. I mean, and then also just think about how disrespectful that is. Like your wife is literally crashing out over the death of another man. And you, her husband, she's not crashing out over you and bending over backwards to respect and honor what you told her to do. If you told her to stop and she's over, no, I gotta crash out for my dead friend. That's crazy work. She'll save her today's show for tomorrow. That's possible. It's very possible. Yeah. We're going to see. I guarantee we're going to see like, oh yeah, there's some editing going on up in here. Some creative editing going on. All right. I'm just looking through fantastic, good family reunion conversations going on up in here. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I mean, we could have and I think this might be worth reaching out to Mike Frizzell, mob boss. I'd love to hear what his thoughts are. What he seems like he's pretty grounded. I'd love to hear what is his thoughts as it relates to the biblical role of husbands and wives. I'd like to hear what he thinks because it sounds like I can make an assumption based upon what I read or what I heard. I'd like to hear what he says. It sounds like a pretty decent content creator. I'm glad. Again, I don't remember who sent me his link. Again, charge it to my head, not to my heart, y'all. But thank you so much for that. All right, let me see. I'm looking at my notes. We got my notes ready. All right, we are on track. So the best live chat. You know what? How many likes we got? Let me see what we doing on these likes. We better than half. I'll take that. Okay. All right, we're better than half. We got 275. That's some bad math over there, Whit. If I get 300, I'm gonna drop these last 5 memberships as well. So let me know when I get 300 mods. All right. My mom is texting me. What does she want? What does my mom want? What you want, Mom? All right. That's my girl. I mean, there's a good reason to believe this, though. Candace hated that Charlie was more successful and didn't choose her. I mean, that's a good, right there. I'm right there with you. Candace will respond to the government of France saying, like they would admit to hiring assassins. That's a good point. Good point. I like that. I mean, it's not hard to pre-record a show. I'm just saying. And you got a whole team. I mean, it's not hard to do it. And that video from TPUSA came out about 2 hours ago. You got more than sufficient time. Her show is usually exactly 1 hour, no matter what, with a 2-minute ad read and another minute, so 3 minutes right there. Yeah, that's not hard to do with a whole team. Now, for me to do it, y'all know I'm over here messing up stuff, so it'll be a little bit longer than that. But it's not hard to pre-record that show. All right. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying this a lot. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that to the ladies in the chat. I don't think a lawsuit will stop her though, Billy. She's being sued by France, and she talking crazy about France. I don't think a lawsuit will help. I don't think that's it. Lots of people have called that out. Let me just make sure I got everything on my. Okay, got that audio in, so as soon as it comes on, I'll know. All right, some mirrors missing. There's some mirrors missing. Wires crossed in her attic for sure. I see what you're doing there. And don't blame it on the babies. Is there no excuse on the babies? I see what you did for sure. All right, this is going to be a good one. We are going to see. Please make sure if you're going to play bingo. Let me see real quick. What am I looking? How am I looking on this bingo today? I'm doing pretty well though. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so I already got my bingo board popping. I'm ready. All right. Let's see. I know she's gonna say France. She's gonna say Kanye West, CIA. That's all gonna come out quick and fast. Lawyers. Oh yeah, my goodness. I know lawyers are gonna come in somehow or another. All right, make sure you got your bingo board. If you don't have one, the mods have dropped the link in the chat, and I believe it's down in the description of this video as well. Grab yourself a bingo board. Let's have some fun. And she's going live in a few moments. I'll try to keep up with it today. I'm gonna try my best. Because we be so far behind sometimes. I'm like, man, what in the world? How do we get so far behind? All right, let's do this. I'm gonna put me back up in here till she goes live. But we'll be ready. I love the guidance and safety my husband provides for our family. There we go. Yeah. Shout out to the husbands. I mean, he does own the show. I mean, I think so. All right. Lots of good family reunion, lots of good conversation going on in the chat. We're gonna have some fun, y'all. Let me see. I got 2 more videos I want to look at when we get finished. I do want to look at Tim Pool, what he had to say, as well as another young lady who's talking about what's happening with good old Candace. So we got a good night planned. Let's get ready to go. Oh, she's not ready yet. Sorry. That's a link to the Pentagon. Okay, I'll check it out. I see y'all. Let me see. Her area is going to be off the charts. Oh, it's going to be a mess. Oh, it's going to be a hot time in the city, I'm sure. I am certain of. Real quick, let me drop these last 5 memberships. We had 330 likes. I love it. Let's go. Welcome to all the new members, to all of y'all. Maybe we'll drop some more tonight. Fire in the hole, y'all. Let's go.
All right, you guys, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. After yesterday's episode where we went kind of for the jugular with Turning Point USA, because really I think everybody in the entire world
Green hearts in the chat.
With the non-response, trying to move on, trying to gaslight us, not answering basic details. So we just went for it. And guess what? Turning Point has moved to formally respond to all the things that we have said. And after a very long diatribe in which they wildly misrepresent the public and global investigation of Charlie Kirk's assassination, they at long last issued a public invitation or a challenge. I'm not sure what it is, but I accept. Okay? Quite literally, all we have ever asked for were sensible answers to our basic questions about what transpired on September 10th. And it looks like we're going to get those things. So major win. I am excited. Also, later on in the show, what I have for you is The Game, whose rapper is releasing a song that is entitled The Assassination of Candace Owens. And I have more questions. I've got questions. Am I allowed to have questions? Welcome back to Candace.
I'm not going to even say anything. I am not going to even say anything. Let's go. I'm not going to even say anything.
What can I say other than we went max? Pause, reflect.
Gosh,
I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of the world. Every single person who was in my inbox giving me tips, the people inside of Turning Point USA who were leaking, the donors that wrote public letters, the donors that didn't write public letters but sent us messages encouraging us to keep going. Today feels like a win because guess what? It forced Turning Point USA to finally respond, and that was the entire point, okay? That has been the point of refusing to let up even 1 second in this investigation. They wanted to simply be able to eulogize Charlie Kirk at a big memorial event, and then they wanted us to simply move on. And we didn't do that, okay? So, yeah, we should celebrate the fact that we kept up the pressure, that we insisted that we have answers, that even in this tremendous culture of ADHD and everyone's constantly being distracted by their iPhones, that we kept the focus, okay? Turning Point is going to commit to a live streamed event where they are apparently going to answer all of these lingering questions. And I would say these were pretty basic questions right out of the gate. Why they didn't do that right out of the gate, nobody knows. We can hear them, their explanation for why they didn't in just a moment, because they sent Blake Neff out. Blake Neff, by the way, is the producer of the Charlie Kirk Show. Now he is kind of the rotating talent of the Charlie Kirk Show. He was already featured with Charlie on the show, so that's not unusual. But I think we probably anticipated that Andrew Colvett, who is the TPUSA spokesperson, would have been the person to deliver this message. Maybe in theory, that should have been his job. Maybe he's traveling. The point is, we got Blake Neff, and I want to say, just to reiterate, that I have always maintained that whatever is going on at Turning Point USA, I have not felt that Blake Neff is one of the bad guys. Okay. I just have never gotten that particular vibe from him. I believe that when he speaks, he believes that he is telling the truth. And maybe that's why they want him in front of the camera. He's been the only person that has been responding in a way that feels even remotely authentic when he defends the actions of Mikey McCoy on that day. I sense that he believes that he is telling the truth. Anyways, let's listen to what Blake Neff had to say in its entirety. It's not going to feel organic. Obviously, he's reading from a piece of paper. This has probably been reviewed 12 times by many different lawyers because that's how it works at big organizations and companies. But I don't fault him that. We'll pause at certain moments because I do want to be able to respond throughout it. It's a bit long, but I want to give them my platform as I always have made that offer to. So here is Blake Neff.
Ever since Charlie's murder, Candace Owens has leveled a flood of allegations against people at Turning Point USA, people at Turning Point Action, and people who work for this show. She's made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees.
Yes.
She has suggested that Michael McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, knew Charlie would be murdered, was happy that he died, and stayed silent because he was told he would be the next Charlie. She has suggested Michael is not his real name. It is. I have seen his birth certificate myself. She has called it suspicious that Mikey's wife, who works at Turning Point, helped plan the campus tour event where Charlie was murdered, which she didn't, by the way. She doesn't work on campus events.
Okay, so first and foremost, I actually never said that she helped plan the event. I said it was suspicious that Mikey McCoy's wife, that we never found out who did plan the event. That was one of the answers that we wanted to know.
That's not true. I'm sorry. And I don't have access to it right now, but she did say that. She did. And she knows that nobody, no Candy. By the way, hold on. Candies, get up here to the front of the church. We save y'all rooms up here in the front pews of the church. Come on up here, Candies. She did say that. And she knows that Candies are not going to go back and check her homework. So she'll just say anything. She'll just say anything. But she did, in fact, say that Mike McCoy's wife was responsible for the event. I do remember that. Okay, let's go.
And I said that she works in events, still was not clear on what happened regarding Mikey McCoy. I think the entire world believes that his actions are suspicious.
No, we don't.
We have eyes.
This is another adorable thing that she does. She includes everybody into her own weird cabal of foolishness. No, ma'am. No, nobody. No, you think this. Say what you think. Don't impugn it on anybody else. We, the entire world, the whole multiverse, everybody in Costco. No, it's just you, Candace. Stay right there. Live with your own situation. Don't try to pawn it off on everybody else. It's your burden to bear.
And you don't get to wiggle out of that by pretending that us playing the words of his own father, Rob McCoy, who I think is highly suspicious in all of this. He has a suspicious background. We played his own words as he tried to sanitize someone who spent time in prison for being a sexual deviant, right? For trying to take photos of young girls. I don't think he's a good guy, and you're not going to make us forget those things because you are trying to pretend that Mikey's actions were totally normal that day. They weren't. That's why I didn't make...
What does his dad and 7 years ago have to do with Charlie Kirk on September 10th? See, that's that stuff that we're talking about. She'll throw all kinds of craziness into the mix in order, just like we watched yesterday. She was better than 20 scenarios into the whole story. And she's just throwing stuff out there to confuse and mess with your mind, tire your mind out, so you'll just accept whatever. Let's go.
The public feel that way, okay? I may have voiced how they felt, which everyone else is refusing to do, but I do believe that Mikey McCoy should have to answer for who he had on the phone right when the shot went off.
That's none of your business.
Yeah. His father, his own father, is the one that spoke about Charlie's notebooks and spoke about how Mikey McCoy was talented. And it was Mikey McCoy who then jumped on Liberty University's stage for an event that was scheduled for Charlie Kirk. So
what's...
That's our perspective.
No, that's your perspective, Candace. That's not anybody else's. Nobody else is worried about that. Nobody else is doing that but you.
And I'm going to stand by it. Let's keep it
Keep
rolling.
standing.
Candace has suggested the Utah Valley University event was unusual and its details suggested a, quote, inside job.
It was unusual. That's a fact. And you can quote me on that because I worked for Turning Point USA and I went on every tour since 2019. And typically those events are decided at least the semester before. This came together very quickly. It is unusual. And I don't know why you think that you are going to be able to disprove that notion when I have the emails to support that claim.
Why do you think that things don't change when you haven't been there for 7 years? Come on, like this is the part that just because you knew something happened back 7 years ago and you're no longer a part of them, is it possible that things could improve? Is it possible that the system can become more streamlined? That's all that they're saying. And you're acting as if because you used to work there, everything should work exactly like it did when you used to be there. I guarantee you the copier password has been changed. I'm guaranteeing you that. Let it go, Candace.
Let's keep it rolling.
She has claimed that foreign aircraft have followed Erica Kirk around the country and that Turning Point has lied about this happening.
Definitely never said Turning Point lied because you never responded.
You did.
So that doesn't actually
No,
make any
you
sense.
did say that,
And
Candace. Hold on. Stop this. Just let it go.
this is why it's not good to have lawyers write things out because sometimes they're not so detail oriented. What we did was we showed at first that when I plotted these strange Egyptian jets that they were following Charlie. And that was a concern because I wondered if they were tracking Charlie. We then obviously realized that they were tracking TPUSA faith events and that many more times they were following and
That's not true.
tracking Erica.
That is not true. I started to do a little deep dive into, you all know that I think that Candace is being punked by her tip line. I believe that. I believe this whole story about the airplanes is totally bogus. Somebody made it up. If you are a member of the channel, I did a video this morning about that, and it's called The French Connection. I really believe that Candace is being punked by this, and let me tell you why. She said that the planes were following Charlie. She got a tip that said, no, the planes were following Erica. Nobody said anything about TPUSA Faith. Never. Because I've been keeping up. I'm trying to pull all the transcripts for it. So I've been reading them. No, she did not. So Candace is just saying stuff, you all. She is definitely playing y'all. She's playing you all slow. Let's go.
Concerned about that. We find it odd that rather than being concerned or trying to get answers to why a foreign military jet would be on the ground during a time when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, you're upset with us for asking questions about these jets.
Nobody cares because you're crazy.
She has accused us of lying about Charlie wanting Erica to take over for him if he died.
Never happened.
Oh my gosh.
That is not a quotation. That is just them saying that.
Oh my gosh.
So let's
That's
keep
fine.
rolling.
She has suggested Charlie's security team intentionally denied him first aid after the shooting to ensure that he died.
When you say suggested, it means that they are interpreting my words. What I said is another fact. They did not issue him first aid when he fell down. There was nobody who pulled out any gauze and tried to stop the bleeding. And they've admitted to that. In a sit down with Sean Ryan, Brian Harpole said it was because of the severity of the injury. I'm sorry again that we noticed something that stood out as unusual given the expertise and the amount of money that he was paying that.
I would love for somebody to ask Candace right now. Candace, from the moment he was shot to the moment he got off of the X, how long was that? How long was it, Candace? I guarantee you she wouldn't know. According to Brian Harpole, it was 8 seconds between the time he got shot to the time they were taking him off the stage. When did you want them to be doing that? Or would you rather them be gone, start getting him to the hospital, administering aid while in the vehicle? See, this is the silly stuff that she does.
Supposed to be an elite team.
Wow, supposed to be an elite team is crazy.
She has raised suspicions about the head of our technical team because he took an SD card out of a camera. She has spread absurd claims that Tyler Boyer, who we just had on the show, sexually abuses male interns.
Okay, so yes, the SD card thing is unbelievably suspicious. It's not something that you would do. Neither would you just run up onto a grassy knoll and record yourself. Again, these are unusual actions. And rather than trying to pretend like it's normal to record a selfie video of yourself and to prematurely announce that somebody is dead, maybe you should answer why all of that took place, because you guys told lies about verifiable lies about why that took place. Because don't forget, Andrew Colvett sat next to you and said it was because people were stealing. People were stealing. You probably would want to grab the very expensive cameras and not the SD card for an event that was being live streamed. Regarding Tyler Boyer, I'm so glad we're going to do this live streamed, because I'm happy to present to you the exact name of the intern. And I didn't say that he abused him. I didn't say it was not consensual. I said that he likes younger boys. I don't mean like younger as in they're not of the legal age. I'm just saying they're a lot younger than him. And yeah, I can give you the exact name of
Do it
the
now.
intern that he hooked up with. That person was not at Turning Point USA. But I can also give you more than that, as well as people that are currently working for Turning Point USA who said that Tyler Boyer,
Do it now.
and these are young men, tried to hook up with them after some events. So I'm glad we're going to live stream that. Keep going.
She has suggested that TPUSA faith affiliated pastors like theologian Frank Turek, who we'll have on in a moment, and Pastor Rob McCoy are part of a military, quote, infiltration of Turning Point, either because they are veterans or because they have family members who are.
Yeah, so I do believe the Calvary Chapel, their history with Chuck Smith, the evidence that it was a militant CIA effort to infiltrate the Christian faith and to tie the Christian faith to the political ideology of Zionism. I think there's a lot of evidence for that, and I'm happy to discuss that in a broader debate. I do think that things at Turning Point USA became a bit problematic when you started to, I would say, almost hijack genuine Christian faith and sort of roll it into this idea that you must support Israel in order to be a Christian. That's kind of floating into more opinion, but I think well backed by the facts of the founding of the Calvary Chapel Church during the decade of the 60s, where the CIA.
Real quick. Please understand, the man said that you said that it was a military infiltration. You're talking about the start of Calvary Chapel. You're talking about Zionism. You're talking about everything but what the man said. And yeah, I want this to be a live stream as well. I want this to be a live debate as well. Let's go.
Was really just spiking the ball on Christians in general. Let's keep going.
Even if not everyone has been named specifically, though, Candace has effectively tarred everyone here with complicity in Charlie's death by repeatedly saying he was, quote, betrayed by, quote, everyone.
Sorry, that was a dream that I had. And it is also a realization that it has been months. People at Turning Point USA are in possession of text messages. And the day before Charlie died, in which he wrote out to you, and not just to people that work at Turning Point USA, but also security guards, that he thought that they were going to kill him tomorrow, explicitly. I find it highly unusual that you wouldn't share that information at all, or that you would sit by and be quiet, or at some points attack people that are trying to explore who they is, because I don't think anybody believes that Charlie thought that a trans furry kid who had never been on UVU's campus was going to kill him tomorrow. And your silence during moments when people are lying, like Josh Hammer, when he said, hey, this never happened, Charlie never blinked on Israel, makes you all look very, very suspicious. Lies are only necessary, okay, when you are covering something. And if you are covering the truth, you are betraying Charlie. So I stand by that. Let's keep going.
She has said Charlie's murder, quote, had to be approved by Charlie's friends, and then suggested those friends might have her murdered too for, quote, knowing the truth.
So you notice that's like a Snopes tactic. When he says the quote, it's actually not a full quotation. I never said that, obviously, in the.
No, I'm sorry. Candace, you're not going to beat these charges. Ma'am, you did say that. You have said that. You've implied it. And please do a live debate. Please do a live debate. I don't care if it's 9 hours long. You need to do a live debate, Candace, where they can hold your feet to the fire and say, this is what you said. This is where you said it. Now defend it. Because this is ridiculous.
Context that he put it in, that Charlie's friends, quote, had to know he was going to be murdered. Did I say the sentence, had to know he was going to be murdered? Perhaps, but we're going to need to hear the full sentence because you're trying to context it in a way that is just untrue. And I don't think it's necessary. If you're willing to have a conversation that you need to lie about anything that I've said, people have watched the show. They know exactly what I've said. And I tend to stand by what I've said.
Stand by it.
Everything that
Please stand by it.
Keep going.
She has made claims of financial impropriety and fraud at Turning Point, adding up into the millions of dollars, which, again, is not true. Charlie made sure the organization was audited by a third party every year. He personally reviewed and he signed off on every expense report, and literally every single bill paid by the organization down to a single United States dollar. We have never missed a 990 deadline.
Okay, so immorality, like financial impropriety, does not necessarily mean that you committed true financial fraud. There's definitely financial impropriety at the company. I would say that if you are representing yourself as a charity and what you're actually doing is evaporating millions of dollars into various LLCs that have your name on it, that would be financial impropriety, right? Like you could say, I'm a contractor, I'm this LLC, I'm that LLC. I'm not doing anything illegal, but it's inappropriate. It's improper. Most people.
You know what else is inappropriate, improper? The fact that you assume that you know everything. And you got to start wondering at some point, what is Candace's invested interest in dragging TPUSA in these little small nuance and niche discussions? What is your real end goal? What is your purpose in trying to figure out whether or not they were infiltrated by a church organization in the 60s or whatever like that? What's your purpose for that? That question needs to be put on the table, and Candace Owens needs to answer it.
Are not able to read those forms and won't understand what's happening to the $80 million. And I think that those questions are, of course, valid and that you guys should have no issues answering them. I am struck by the fact that you're still trying to conflate an annual audit with Charlie's explicit request to put together a Doge department 7 days before he died. These are not the same. You know,
this woman has got to be mentally deficient. And we talked about it yesterday. Like, when did Doge come into existence? Doge is really a relatively new concept in that regard. So Charlie wouldn't have said that in 2022. He wouldn't have said it in 2021. It would make sense that he called it in 2024 because that's when we actually heard about it in 25. So why is this like off kilter for her? That's the part that makes no sense. And for her to position herself as if she knows what she's talking about is nasty work.
Not the same. I know they're not the same. Okay. Everyone knows that Doge is not the same as the audits that are required for 501c3s, conducting an internal audit, and having you still misrepresent that makes us uncomfortable.
No, it makes you uncomfortable.
The Doge. That's got nothing to do with anything other than Charlie, right? Charlie felt that this needed to happen, and inside sources at your own company say it was because he didn't know where the money was coming from or how quickly and where exactly the money was being evaporated to. That passes the vibe check in terms of what Doge is about, because, of course, Charlie could not have been establishing Doge for the last 5 years because that's a very new concept.
Right.
2025.
That's what we're saying.
That Trump put into place with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, right? So, yeah, you're still being dishonest.
No.
Carry on.
So let me ask a question. So this is the question. Did they do their regular audit and a Doge, or did they call the regular audit a Doge audit? That's the question I think needs to be answered. Because I don't think that, well, first of all, I know she doesn't know because she's just getting this information from wherever. So we have no idea who's telling her this. Where is she getting this information from? And the people, whether or not they actually know everything. Like that, this doesn't make any sense. Let's go.
Candace has made other stranger allegations involving French paratroopers in maroon shirts, Egyptian Air Force planes flying out of Provo, Utah, and potential underground assassins traveling through unseen tunnels. At one point in early November, she started wildly throwing suspicion on members of Utah Valley's soccer team for wearing hoodies. I could go on. There is always something new coming up, and none of it ever pans out because from the start, there has been nothing there.
Okay, so no matter how many times you keep pretending there's nothing there at the Egyptian plains, the whole internet understands that there's something there at the Egyptian plains.
No, we don't. We don't, because we know that planes don't work like that. You don't do that. No, we don't. No, don't you add me to it. You can take me out of the we. I am not in the we, not at all. Because nobody agrees with you, Candace. You are being played.
Especially because you keep pretending like it's not weird. Like you're just like, it's not weird. No, this is normal. It's totally fine that these Egyptian planes, and also, by the way, today it broke that the Saudi king was on this plane at some point in 2023. We'll get to that later. And you guys are like, this is totally normal. This is just what happens at UVU. People just lay over into Wilmington, do things. It's just so foolish. You guys have got to stop the gaslighting if you think your organization is going to survive. I mean, some of that stuff is just untrue. Saying that I went after somebody for wearing a green hoodie is not true at all.
You did.
Covered the green hoodie people.
You did call the young man out wearing a green hoodie. The young man came forward and said, hey, yo, we were just wearing hoodies, whatever. But you would have gone after. What was weird about somebody wearing a hoodie? I wear hoodies all the time. I got one hanging up right there. Like, I'm just wearing a crew neck right now. But Candace, let her go, Jason.
Joe, I shared a picture when somebody asked for a picture because they were trying to investigate and identify everyone who was there, which is valid.
Because your people are crazy.
Was not even upset about it. He responded. So that has nothing to do with me whatsoever. And by the way, it would probably feel better to the public if you guys were the ones that were asking questions about who was there on that day.
Maroon hoodies.
I completely stand by what I said about the people that are wearing maroon shirts. They are going to, I will guarantee you, represent a military unit somewhere. I'm very close to figuring out exactly which military unit that was.
She outed me. Oh, no. She found out about your boy. Oh, man. I got to go incognito now. Oh, man. She done found out. I got to go dark, y'all. I got to go dark. She done found out about my... Oh, man. Dang it.
Again,
who told her?
Gaslight us and pretend we're conspiracy theorists or like that's stupid. Not a good long-term strategy for Turning Point USA. Carry on.
The attacks and allegations from Candace are either lies or they are innuendos thrown around with a total reckless disregard for the truth so that Candace can manipulate and string along an audience of people who don't realize they are being played. Instead of being able to grieve properly after one of the most heinous murders in American history, a murder many of us had to witness, my friends have had to endure harassment from people who have gotten whipped up by what Candace is saying. In fact, I would say we have suffered more harassment from these people than we have from Antifa supporters who overtly celebrate Charlie's murder. And just like a lot of those Antifa members, many of these people take this delight in how gross and unpleasant they can be. What our friends have had to endure is not funny and it's not insignificant. It is evil. I have seen it.
Okay, conflating people that are trying to figure out who murdered Charlie Kirk with like Antifa is actually objectively funny. That's an unforced error. They should not have included that in the statement. Somebody in that room was like, should we say that? Should we not? And somebody said, no, we shouldn't say that. And then somebody else in the room said, no, we should, let's keep it in. That second person was wrong. That should have been struck from the statement. It's very silly, okay? It's very silly to attack.
Did you see how she created an entire narrative and knows nothing about how that sentence got in there? I think it's right to say, like, the Candies are probably more vitriolic than Antifa. Okay. So that's what they believe. And they said it with full confidence, just like you said, Candace. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Your own audiences who are concerned and your own donors who are concerned and say, you're Antifa if you don't accept this absurd Fed slop. If you're not going to drink the Fed slop, then you are Antifa. Just not a good idea whatsoever. Okay. That is
That's not what he said,
here.
though.
You are not the victim. Charlie is, actually. He's dead. And to pretend like you are too aggrieved to be able to answer the questions makes entirely no sense. Obviously, if you were actually under a real amount of stress, if you actually were deeply upset that people had you on a list of suspects or thought that you were suspicious, you would just clarify things instantly, immediately. It's so easy. It's free. If someone said, Candace, what were you doing when Charlie Kirk was shot? I'd be like, I was sitting down at my table prepping my show. Like, the question doesn't offend me because I had nothing to do with Charlie dying, okay? This is a psychological technique that...
But nobody is accusing you, though, either, Candace. Asking what you were doing is different than saying, Candace, you're responsible for Charlie Kirk's unaliving. That's a whole different game. You are making the assertion. The only reason people are saying what they're saying about TPUSA is because of you, Candace. Nobody over here is saying that about you. Now, I've heard people put some plausible theories out there about you, but most people are saying Candace didn't do it. We know who did it. It's Tyler Robinson. But see, you're doing this, and then you're like, oh, I don't know why people are upset about it. Man, because you're accusing them. Even in your question asking, you are accusing, even in the question. It's not just a question, it's an accusation disguised in cosplay, in question drag. Let's go.
It's failing. It is failing for you. And you're upset because you thought that with time, with the passage of time, people would let the story go, and they didn't. And these reasons that he's about to list for why they didn't respond and answer any questions are beyond ridiculous. Let's take a listen.
For months, we have received hundreds, thousands, I suspect, emails and calls asking us to respond.
Yeah.
People have wanted us to invite Candace on the show. But for a long time, our approach was to say nothing. We did that for several reasons. First, we thought that her prevarications were so absurd that nobody would believe them. We shouldn't have to answer questions about secret tunnels or Egyptian Air Force planes. That sort of thing is just, it's beneath contempt to respond to. The second reason we've said so little, though, is because there's a good rule of thumb, which Charlie followed. Do not feed the trolls. Focus on the mission. Reviving America, uplifting young people, making heaven crowded. Don't give air to people who want to tear you down and sow discord. Lastly, we didn't respond because Charlie always viewed Candace as a friend, and we were holding out hope that she would return that friendship and stop what she was doing.
Okay, so the first thing he says there is, we didn't respond because it's beneath us. Like, that's just not the right attitude. I mean, that is an elitist attitude. It is beneath us to respond to the very people who showed up in scores because they were so moved by Charlie's assassination that they all poured into the Staples Center, right? And poured their tears out and made videos and donated. It is beneath us to not, to then...
Sorry about that. It's funny because she's trying to conflate the candies with normal people, the Cantifa with normal people that have normal questions. That's not the case at all, Candace. This is just crazy work, man. This is crazy work, man. May God bless her and give her a heart of repentance because she is ridiculous. Let's go.
Respond to questions that you have that are meaningful, because we just think it's so stupid that you would suggest that the feds are involved in an assassination. That's never happened in American history. What? So that's a ridiculous thing. The second thing he says there is, Charlie always said, don't feed the trolls. Well, that flies into the face of what he says thereafter, where he says Candace and Charlie were friends. So I'm not a troll, okay? I'm not a troll. I'm not trolling. I'm not someone who's hated Turning Point and wanted Turning Point to fail. I'm actually the exact opposite of that. And that's why the people believe in me and they trust me, because they feel that I'm the only one that's acting right in this situation. Who wouldn't want to have every stone unturned if they cared about somebody? Who wouldn't want to have every question answered? Who wouldn't be immediately suspicious to see Egyptian military jets?
That Egyptian military jet thing, she's going to try her best to keep making that because she knows it's dumb. She knows that sounds that really sounds short bus, big classroom, small group of kids type of effect. It's interesting. She keeps trying to add herself into the normal parlance as if this is just normal behavior. This is just normal things that normal people do. That's not the case at all, Candace. Your behavior is not normal. What you're doing is not normal. And don't try to conflate yourself and say, everybody's like you, because no, everybody's not, Candace. They're not. and nobody's trusting you except the weird Cantifa people. That's just them. Let them do that. Most of us think you're crazy. We think you're wackadoodle. We think that George needs to come down there and unplug your computer. Absolutely. Let's finish this up.
Who wouldn't go, why the hell were these jets around Turning Point way before, years before Charlie's assassination?
Years
Who
is
was on
crazy.
these jets? Instead, you're mentioning the Egyptian planes for the fourth time. So I would like to recommit everybody that is watching this to figuring out what the hell is going on with these Egyptian planes, because they're nervous about them. Okay. They're mentioned so many times. They're trying to give the vibe that this is so crazy. No.
You know why? Because they're ridiculous and, dare I say, short of the Ninja Turtles and the bees. This is the craziest story.
The key, and that is obvious even in Blake Neff's statement.
You
Again,
want
I
it
am
to be
not a
true.
troll, okay?
Yes, you are.
And people followed what felt to them as authenticity, and it was not you. They were not getting that from Charlie's closest friends. Why is that? They weren't getting that from Charlie's most loved pastors. Why is that? Don't blame me for the bad energy that you exuded, okay? Don't blame me for the fact that you didn't pass the gut check with the public. That's why you're doing this, okay? That is why you are doing this, because your strategy failed. In fact, this is your old school turning point before they put on the faith pants. This is your old school turning point lesson in what the free markets are. The free markets saw what you were offering, right?
What?
And they saw what I was offering. You were offering, we should accept this and move on. And I was saying, we need to investigate this. And the free markets said no to Turning Point USA.
That's not true. That's not true at all. Wow.
Let him take this away in terms of what he thought, I guess, was the best way to be a friend to Charlie Kirk. What did he think was the best way for them to show that they were friends with Charlie Kirk? Keep going, Blake.
But a week from now, it's going to be 3 months since Charlie's murder. Candace has not changed her behavior. She has continued to spread falsehoods about Charlie's friends, and she continues to concoct new ones about new people. She's
Saudi
using
Prince.
these falsehoods to enrich herself while dividing the conservative movement at an absolutely critical time for this country.
I have to applaud that audacity. I have to applaud it. You do. You have to applaud it. These, excuse me here, but like, I'm trying not to swear. These men, okay, this company, these amazing lads over here have the audacity to accuse me of enriching myself when they were out there selling T-shirts, okay, of what Charlie died in to enrich themselves. Were they giving those T-shirts away for free at the Staples Centers? No, they were selling kit of what Charlie died in to the tune of $80 million plus that they made in the first 3 weeks, okay? They made their entire budget for the year in the first couple of weeks following Charlie's assassination. And they are attacking me with zero proof that I've made a single dollar off of Charlie's assassination. I did not sell a cup. I did not sell a mug, okay? All I did was do what I already do for a living, okay? I podcast and I investigate things. I investigate things that I feel passionate about. Sometimes it's Kamala's genealogy, when she's saying she wants to be the president and things aren't making sense, and I sense that she is lying. Sometimes it's Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds when they...
Sorry, y'all. I'm going to have to call Butkus on Candace. I'm going to go to Playboard real quick, and I'm just going to show you how much she makes pretty much on every live stream. So this is how much she's made so far today on her live stream. This is how much she made yesterday on her live stream. This is how much she made the day before on her live stream. Candace, we might need to have a conversation about what you mean by that. This is how much she made on last week when she was off. This is how much she made when she was discussing the Macron case. This is how much she made. I think you all can see Candace makes really good money. And these are some slow days. These are slow. She was doing a lot better. Actually, it's kind of calmed down a little bit, truth be told, because she was doing pretty consistently like 3,000 a day at one point. It was cooking. So she's really calmed down quite a bit. But I think you all can see, like, hey, how many? I don't think many of us would be upset if we made $2,080 in an hour worth of work in a day. And this is just in super chats. This is only in super chats. This has nothing to do with her AdSense, nothing to do with making money from YouTube ads or anything of that nature. Nothing whatsoever. So I think it's fair to say that, Candace, you do make money. You make quite a bit off of the Charlie Kirk scenario and what happened to him and your quote unquote investigation of Charlie Kirk's murder. I think it's fair to say that, yeah, you've been doing pretty well. Just want to point that out to y'all. Let's go. Continue.
Tried to destroy a man's life who's not even on my quote unquote political team. Sometimes it's Brigitte and why we are colluding with nations to cover the obvious fact that Brigitte was born a male. And this time it's personal and it's you. Do you want to know what all of these investigations have in common? Liars who lie and think that the public is too stupid to see through their lies. That is how we got into this. Okay? I did not sell anything. You did that. You guys did that. You guys continued to do that. You guys wanted to just move on and to grift off of Charlie's legacy.
The fact that she's about to do an ad read and at the end she's going to tell people to sign up for her book club and buy her merch, and she does that in every show. The irony is crazy work. This is absolutely diabolical.
Myself to figuring out who murdered him. So, anyways, he does get to the point here, which is that they are willing to finally address things head on. So I will let Blake say that.
And far too often, we here have heard from ordinary people, people who loved Charlie and who Charlie loved so much in return. These people have expressed the worry that we are staying silent out of cowardice or as some sort of tacit admission that some of the attacks are true. Neither is the case. Our silence has never been, and it will never be, equal to complacency or approval. Still, we decided Charlie would not allow this to go on. Charlie was not a coward. Charlie was a fighter. Charlie would not allow someone to spread lies about the people closest to him with impunity. And he would feel ashamed if other people were stepping up to defend his friends while he never did so himself. Candace has mentioned several times that the ball is in our court. So here's what is going to happen. In the near future, there will be a live stream here in Phoenix where we address in a clear and comprehensive way the claims and accusations, the false accusations that have been made against Charlie's family, friends, and the people here at Turning Point. We plan to walk through everything carefully and thoroughly. If Candace is available, we would sincerely welcome her participation in that live stream at our studio here in Phoenix. At this point, we believe the ball is back in her court. Our motivation for doing this is not out of any obligation to Candace. It is about honoring Charlie. We feel a deep responsibility to protect his legacy, his work, and the truth. I feel that. I owe Charlie everything in my life. I feel it immensely. And that is why we feel compelled to speak clearly and openly now. We'll have more on this in the near future.
Yay! Finally, you didn't have to get through all that shade that you were throwing me to get to the point that you were willing to answer questions, okay? Because that's what Charlie did for a living. How could you guys think that you were just going to continue on and pretend like people asking meaningful questions was somehow an attack? That's what he did for a living. He stood up on college campuses and he debated people. And he sat there principally and debated people because he felt that he had the moral high ground, okay? And that if those people disagreed with him, he could bring them over to his side. You guys have been actually acting and embodying the opposite of Charlie Kirk's spirit, okay? And you did it even in this. It was like one big character assassination. And it wasn't to me. That's what you guys don't understand. You're not attacking me. You are attacking millions of people around the world who watched a man, an innocent man, be publicly executed and then watched what felt very much like the state collude to feed us absolute horseshit about what took place on that day, okay? 30-06 bullets do not get stopped by human necks because they eat healthy. They don't. And yes, you guys are a part of that apparatus of people who made us feel, and you've expressed it here, like you were too good to answer questions. We are already said, I got on stage and I told you that I'm Charlie's pastor. I told you I'm his best friend. I told you. You guys have even allowed people to inject themselves into his legacy that Charlie didn't even like.
It's interesting. I bet you Rob McCoy has text messages of him conversating with Charlie Kirk in the last 12 months. I bet you he does. I want to see Candace's text messages for the last 10 months from Charlie Kirk.
And we're supposed to believe you're doing this because you're his friend? Because you're committed to truth? You sat there and allowed the very people who pressured Charlie towards the end of his life
Here come the people
to try
again.
to claim his whole legacy? And you're pretending we are the ones that are immoral? You're upset because you got caught lying. You're upset because you got caught with your pants down, but you cannot blame me for that, okay? These were your own errors. These were your own lies. And I was not going for a single second to let up on the pressure. In fact, I have been so strategic that I've been holding on to certain information, hoping that you would acquiesce to have a public conversation because I want to look you in the eye and I want to challenge you to lie to me because I care deeply about what happened to Charlie on that day. I don't think we're getting the truth. And I do believe that because you are not forthcoming about the information that you have about Charlie texting you guys and saying that he thought he was going to be assassinated that very next day, okay? The day that he died, Charlie knew, said he thinks he was going to be killed tomorrow, and you guys are sitting on that information. So I'm the right person. Yeah, I'm the right person to sit across from you and to ask you questions, right? Some things that you told
And they're going to ask you questions. Let's make sure they ask you questions as well. Because I think the onus, the ball is still in your court, Candace. You still got to answer these questions. So it's not just you're going to come in there and interrogate them and I'm waiting for discovery. I'm waiting for this. No, ma'am. You are going to have to be interrogated as well. You're going to have to answer questions. Yes or no. Show me your proof. So, yeah, I think this is going to be good.
me on that day, they're not adding up. I think the entire world would like to see this discussion. I think you can do it in Charlie's honor. I'll sit there. You pick a place and time. We could have done this today, by the way. You didn't have to read all that. Okay, we all have tech. We could have done a live stream. We could schedule a live stream.
They want you to come.
Raise
They want you to come right on out there.
Turning Point
Nope.
USA. If you promise to answer every question that I have, okay? And it's not hard. It's not difficult if you are telling the truth to answer questions. When you are emoting so much and you're upset at the inquiry and you're playing this game like you're David Hogg and I survived Parkland, so how dare you question my authority on anything? Not a good long-term strategy. It's not going to be effective long-term. And I think you're learning that lesson because 3 months on, with the entire mainstream media on your side and attacking me, which you guys didn't even stand up for me, when you knew they were lying about me, you stayed mum. That in and of itself,
What did they say about
you should be
you?
ashamed of. You should be ashamed to sit across from people who did everything they could to stop Charlie's rise, breaking bread with them and refusing to have a conversation with me, and you know that I cared about Charlie.
That's interesting because she keeps talking about these people that are trying to insert themselves into Charlie's legacy. You mean kind of like Nick Fuentes? You mean kind of like him? Kind of like Tucker? You mean like those people? Because let them tell the story. They were besties as well. And this is just crazy work. I don't know how we're supposed to put up with her. Let's get done. Come on.
Have you no
We got
shame?
an ad break.
We're going to find out. You can pick the place. You can pick the time. I say we do it tomorrow. We don't need to plan for this. We don't need lawyers in between us, lawyer statements. It's not how I roll, okay?
Oh,
I don't care
really?
about any of that. I want it to be
Because you don't know where your
authentic, like I
lawyers
said.
work.
You can take the money. We can raise money live for this conversation. That is how badly the world is demanding it. So I accept it with whistles and bells, everything. I
She won't
fully
come.
accept. I say, let's do it tomorrow.
Of course.
Let's do it tomorrow. And my only ground rule is no assassinations. Okay? No assassinations, no funny business. You can't pretend you're going to do it and then Candace died in a mysterious accident. Okay?
Wow.
We'll be right back after a quick break. All right, you guys, this
What you think of that quick break is going to be, y'all? What y'all think the quick break is going to be? In the chat, what you think the quick break is going to be? We know it's going to be ads. We know it's going to be ads. She's reading ads in the quick break, which, again, she doesn't do that, she said. That's crazy work. Shout out for sure. Thank y'all so much, everybody who's jumped in to the most electrifying live chat on the planet. Did Candace officially just say the TPUSA has text messages saying they were going to delete Charlie Kirk? She says that. Thank you so much, our Lila Rose with the $7 super. That's what she says. How do you prove it, Candace? You got to prove it. Thank you, MT with the 2 says this. Charlie Kirk spoke about Trantifa threat to him for years. Right. So if he's talked about it for years, then they could be whom, right? There we go. This is just dumb. All right. Thank you so much, 2025 with the $10 euro. Game on, guys. 100. Absolutely. And thank you so much again, Janley, with the $2 says this. They need to bring her own videos to this. I'm looking forward to it. And I hope they just keep dragging it out. They don't have to do it tomorrow. Don't rush. Do it in the time frame that you feel comfortable. I'm not in the we either. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Yeah, I don't know who this we is. She loves trying to include everybody into this parasocial shenanigans that she has going on, which is parasocial psychosis. How about that? I like that. All right, let's keep this going. Thank you so much, Jan Lynn, please. With the $2 says this, it was a Candy that went after Benny. That's a good point. Very good point. And then, of course, with the 2004 with the $2 super says this, now the Saudi king is in on deleting Charlie. Right. I mean, she stay introducing new shenanigans. Let's keep going. Captain Jack with the 5 says, Erica Kurt said that she trusted the FBI investigation. That is all Candace needs to know. Erica has seen the evidence. Candace needs to respect that. But Candace doesn't know how to. Captain Jacks, thank you so much with the 5. And she just doesn't know how to do that. That's a lap too far for her. Thank you so much again. Jane Lee 2004 with the $2 super says this. Hold on one second. Make sure we're ready when they come back on. She was prepped for this show because she did it. Right. She knows exactly what she's doing. MT, thank you again with the 5. She uses Charlie and Christianity as shields, like how BLM uses race. Her response to Allie and Blake are the same. Also, Candies are not Charlie's fans, which is very interesting. Think about how many people now are calling out TPUSA, and they themselves are not Christian. They themselves care nothing about Charlie Kirk, his legacy, what TPUSA was about, but they themselves are invested in this. Where did they come from? Something to think about. Thank you so much for that 5 for sure. And again, Phantom with the 2 says this, her investigations lead to nothing. Let Erica Kurt speak. I like it. I so can't stand her. And I'm with you, Vanessa, with the $2. She's putting herself in a position for sure. She keeps mentioning refusing to talk to her. Core of the problem. Much, Jalen, why does she think people deserve, like she feels she is owed a conversation, which is crazy work. Again, thank you so much, MT. With the 2 says this, she admits it's because they didn't include her. Right. Good point. Brand new member alert. Thank you, MK880. Thank you so much. Welcome to the team. Thank you so much. Brand new member for sure. So now Candace is saying that TPUSA ain't going to are going to assassinate her now. Don't talk to her, sue her butt off. You know what, Lila Rose, I'm kind of with you on that. That was kind of gross. Thank you for the $7. And let's get back. Woo, the ad read is over. She's done reading ads, which is kind of comical. So let's go.
Live chat right now. They really think Turning Point's going to kill me. They're like, don't go in person. It's a setup. It's a trap. I think that they would kind of figure that they would be blamed for that. I think we're okay there. But let's start with the Pentagon, because this is interesting. The United States Pentagon, in case you don't know, is the complex that houses our Department of Defense. It's a massive complex, right? There is arguably no more relevant building to communicating to the American people about foreign threats. That's what they do. Is quite literally the nerve center for the United States Armed Forces. It's headquarters for the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. And recently, because the American government wants the world to no longer take us seriously as a nation or something, they decided to undergo a quote unquote press corps makeover, ostensibly to let in new, independent, more trusted journalists. And some of them are, okay, James O'Keefe, obviously, formerly of Project Veritas, he's very much trusted. Matt Gaetz, I like him very much. But some of the people that they let in are almost the exact opposite of trustworthy and are just radically pro-Zionist. Like they will lie, steal, cheat, and figuratively murder or I guess literally allow Israel to murder without asking any questions. And so that's why they're being let in. Most notably, obviously, Laura Loomer. She's totally nutty. And I don't say that in a way of like, this is an ad hominem attack. I mean, like she has psychotic issues. Allowing Laura Loomer into a national defense complex is actually sort of just an indication to just how committed they are to laundering the reputations of anyone as long as they say, I support Israel. Because Laura Loomer is quite literally so deranged that she once handcuffed herself to the Twitter headquarters because they banned her account. Okay. That's like, and she wore yellow Star of David. When I met her, she was crying tears because they took away her check mark. She deeply, deeply cares about social media in a way that is just unhinged. Okay. Now, she is apparently not allowed to own a gun because of various psychotic events that required her hospitalization. But due to her commitment to Zionism, which in a Zionist defense seems like a psychopathology is a prerequisite, the media is now trying to mainstream her and make us think that she's like a serious person. So our government, the Pentagon, decided to credential her at this time. She's a part of the new press corps that we can trust. Laura has probably been the one of the more prominent gaslighters when it comes to Charlie Kirk's assassination. She hated Charlie when he was alive and now wants everyone to honor him by not prodding the narrative surrounding his death. Literally a couple of weeks before he died, she called Charlie a charlatan, a political opportunist, that he wasn't pro-Trump, simply because he hosted Dave Smith, who is anti-Zionist, he is also Jewish, for a debate with Josh Hammer, who's a radical Zionist like herself, at one of his events. Charlie believed in free speech and he believed in debate, and so that was her reason for attacking him. Briefly showing you this tweet from her. Not even worth reading in its entirety, but this is the tweet that she sent out. And then Charlie died a couple of weeks later, and she completely switched and now thinks that she's guarding his legacy. Anyways, she was beside herself with glee this morning, sharing news that another Zionist influencer named Cam Higbee, who has also now been credentialed by the Pentagon, decided to ask the perhaps billion-dollar question to the Pentagon's press secretary, a young woman named Kingsley Wilson, about the foreign angle of Charlie's assassination. Now, I obviously reported that the French Foreign Legion were apparently on the ground on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So here is Cam Higbee, who I guess is playing dress up as a reporter, asking the Pentagon's press secretary a question about the most viral story for about a week pertaining to France's participation in the biggest political assassination that has taken place since JFK, I would say. I think that's fair. Here's our new press corps, guys.
I'm going to stop for a hot second. Did anybody notice that Candace hasn't mentioned that France was trying to delete her, allegedly? Does anybody notice that? I haven't heard her mention that. And she mentioned it in passing yesterday. So it doesn't seem like it's a big a deal on her plate that there's an international deletion contract or whatever. I don't know what they call it for her. Is that just me? Maybe it's just me. I haven't heard her mention it. I haven't heard her mention it at all today. I think she mentioned it in passing yesterday. But it doesn't seem like it's as big a deal. Let me say it like that. Even if she mentioned it yesterday, it's not like, yo, man, these people trying to put my head to bed. Nothing like that. I wonder why. Because even here, she's not mentioning it.
Take a listen to, actually, first, let's focus in on Cam Higbee's question. The way he asks it is, I think, worthy of highlighting. Take a listen.
Absolutely. I'm Kingsley Wilson. I'm the press secretary here at the Pentagon. We're in the Pentagon briefing room, and it's been fantastic. Get to come to the Pentagon every day, and now you all do it as well.
Yeah. So this is my first question, and don't laugh. Does the DOW have any evidence at all of a French military plot to assassinate Candace Owens?
Okay, here's my first question.
That's actually a good question. Wait, hold on. Before she gets in here.
Do it as well.
Yeah. So this is my first question, and don't laugh. Does the DOW have any evidence at all of a French military plot to assassinate Candace Owens?
That's a good question.
Here's my first question. Don't laugh. It's like two girls getting their nails done. Okay, let me ask. We're like a sleepover. Okay. I have to tell you. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Is this supposed to make us think that this is not propaganda? Are we going, this is cool? Is this the new strategy? All the cool kids don't even ask the feds questions. All the cool kids just get in line and do whatever they say. All the cool kids just think it's beyond crazy to consider that the state would assassinate people, even though that's what we do. That's what the CIA does. We just murder people around the world. But that's crazy talk. And so they're going to make it's like too cool to even answer. Take it away, Kingsley.
That is an interesting question. Not that I'm aware of, but, interesting question. I can try to find out and maybe let you know. I think that might be more of a law enforcement matter, though.
No, I think actually the Department of Defense, this would be a...
No, I think Kingsley is right over the target. Candace, did you file did you file a police report? Did you reach out to your local police department to let them know? Because if it happens in your home, the local police are going to be the ones that start the investigation. So did you at least let them know, Candace? I think that's a valid question. She said it's going to be a law enforcement question. Did you do that, Candace? I'm sure you filed a police report, right? You did. Or did you, maybe you text them. She texted the police report, Jason. She texted her local sheriff. That's who it was.
Good matter for you guys to take up of whether or not foreign governments are plotting assassinations of American citizens feels like this might be the right department to me. And I'm not laughing.
I am.
So when I say to you guys, when I stress to you guys that you should not be signing up for war, you should not be signing up for the military, you should not get involved in this obvious war that they are planning that's coming soon. This exact moment between these two people is what I'm referring to. It's like a rare glimpse into the elitist perspective of our government. Like our job, I guess, is to work and to deposit money so that they can build themselves complexes like the Pentagon, which is a 6.5 million square foot residence office building, okay? It is the second largest office building in the world, 6.5 million square feet. And they built it with our money so that we could have some sort of an illusion of being protected by our government. Like we could actually call them and say, hey, I have very specific information and accounts that you can trace because the president of France allegedly paid $1.5 million for my assassination. And by the way, I have evidence they had French Foreign Legion on the ground on the day that Charlie got assassinated. They're not going to respond to that.
Why didn't you give it to the police then? Why didn't you start with your local police? Why, matter of fact, I mean, you have an outlet right now. Why are you not showing us this stuff right now? You have no problem doxing people, so don't even give me that high and mighty hoi polloi. Why are you not just going ahead and just showing everybody, this is the evidence, the facts that I have? Sure, you can redact things, okay, if you need to. But why are you not doing that? You could have done that all last week. You could have been doing that, Candace. Instead of reading about maps and red cranes, you could have been telling us, this is how I know that this is real. And shutting down all this confusion. Just like you were saying that TPUSA needed to answer questions to shut down any confusion, the same thing is true about you. The same thing. I think this is like projection more than anything else. Let's get done.
Right. That's all supposed to be an illusion. When it comes down to it, getting that credible evidence after a televised event, essentially a televised event of a public execution. LOL. Get back to work, slaves. We're trying not to laugh at you questioning whether or not a 30-06 can be magically stopped by a human neck. How dare you ask any questions or speak to us about states coordinating assassinations? And are you guys still talking about the Epstein files? That's the attitude. They think this is good PR. Like, the Zionist accounts are sharing this and they're going, LOL. I don't know that the American government has ever been more, I don't know if they've ever been more out of touch with the American people than to see this as they're like, send it around the press. Ha. The Pentagon is laughing at foreign assassination. They don't take anything seriously. Yeah, we just watched Trump get shot at and his ear clipped. We just watched another person try to assassinate Trump on the golf field. And then we watched Charlie Kirk die publicly. But LOL, I'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. That's not what we're here for. Get to work, slaves. Again, there is no left or right. It's just the elites. It's the media apparatus that protects those elites. And then the rest of us who are supposed to be slaves, okay? The elites own everything. They own everyone.
Isn't it amazing that Candace, and I was waiting for this language and verbiage to pop up into the chat, where she's talking about the us versus them, the haves versus the have-nots, the elites versus the great unwashed. Isn't it amazing that Candace has positioned herself as if she is not an elite? Isn't that crazy how she does that? Now, sure, you might not be an elite with this particular elite club that you're calling out, but ma'am, you are definitely not like us. You're not going to work like us, Candace. You let it go. Let it go. You're not. You're not. Don't even try it. I just think it's adorable that she keeps trying this same play and she gets away with it. Like, how do you get away with it? That's going to be studied by science. I know it.
And if somebody actually breaks free, right? If they have an individual in the matrix who creates something that they cannot control or buy, then there are only a couple of options for that individual, okay? The state responds and they say, we will destroy you reputationally. We will call you crazy, go after your reputation, make up allegations against you. We will bankrupt you. We will imprison you, or we will kill you. That's the reality of the world that we live in, okay? We don't live in a meritocracy. It's not a free nation.
Y'all remember when Lily Gaddis said that? She said the exact same thing. Like, it's a script. It's a victimization script. When things are not going your way and you want to garner support, you start telling this narrative of how the great overlords are taking over, blah, 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 blah. It's very interesting. Okay, let's go.
They have to be able to control you. And the timing of me speaking about this is so perfect because this article appeared in Fortune yesterday. This is the headline. Inside the economics of Candace Owens' media empire and the Macron lawsuit threatening to unravel it. They went with this, like, they're proud of this. Like, a lawsuit can unravel. What they're calling an empire is actually just a mom from home who got fired and rejected from literally nations. They tried to destroy me last year. They took everything. They just tried to destroy my reputation, tried to break my friendships, and I survived, okay? And that angers them. And so this article is written with such elitism, the hope that the state will step in and just break it, just bankrupt it. This is an actual quotation. The lawsuit, it reads, the lawsuit is set to test whether the controversy as currency that made Owens rich and gave her a media brand that reaches tens of millions of people can survive what experts say will be an immensely costly legal battle. Yeah, we're going to bankrupt Candace Owens. That is our intent. The experts are saying that we can do it because we can't control her. She wouldn't sell out, not to the military complex that we live in, not to big companies, not to corporations. She wouldn't turn the eye when Palestinians were being genocided by Israel. And we have no other options. We're running out of options here. So we've got to kill her or we've got to bankrupt her. And we're signaling that we're going to bankrupt her. That's how this thing works.
But do you see that she's not mentioning that allegedly there's an assassination attempt on her or contract on her? Do you see how she's not even mentioning that? She said, smear your name, ruin your name, bankrupt you, assassinate you. But she's not addressing that she allegedly has an assassination that she is verified. Remember that. She verified it. She's not mentioning it. She's talking about bankrupting. Even when she mentioned that she didn't want to be assassinated by TPUSA, she didn't mention That that would have been a great time to mention the fact that allegedly there's a contract out on her head, because it's not true. It's not true. She's been lying to y'all the whole time. I know the Cantifa people, y'all up here in the front of the church, and I know y'all are upset about this, but please understand, she's been playing you the whole time. And I don't know if maybe she doesn't have good grasp of short-term memory or whatever, or she's missing key opportunities. I don't know what it is, but she's missing an opportunity to even mention it. Why? Because it never was true. Finish this up. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet.
For telling the truth, by the way. That's why I'm being sued. And they're not lying. Thus far, in the Brigitte Macron lawsuit, we have paid over $250,000.
Only a quarter?
And we haven't even had our first day in court.
Only a quarter?
That's the matrix. That is the matrix. And I will, again, assert to these people, I will never bow the knee to evil. I will never bow bend the knee, rather, to people that harm children. You will never see me bend the knee to that, ever. Bankrupt me if that is what makes you feel good. Because at the end of the day, it feels like we are existing in a time where you are only catalyzing your own demise. Like, people have never been more awake and more in tune. And the focus on Charlie Kirk's assassination proves that. You couldn't make that go away. Speaking of which, Charlie Kirk, whose death is exposing this matrix in ways that I do not even think that we can fully comprehend in this moment just yet. We asked the question and we can't find the answer as to where Brigitte Macron was on the dates that the Egyptian plane was flying around America. It's just like a 6-day gap.
So this is a very interesting point. What was the point of that whole Pentagon scenario? I didn't even try to keep track of how many different things she threw out today. But what was the point of that? What was the point of that? Now she's about to go talk about, we don't know where Brigitte Macron was while Egyptian planes were flying around the U.S. This is crazy work, y'all. Again, Cantifa, if this is your person, you got to look at her and you got to at least wonder, like, what the devil? What are you talking about? Like, you have to start wondering this.
Brigitte's schedule. And now, of course, especially as we have learned about Delaware and the DuPont French connection.
Oh my gosh, the French connection.
Non-answer that we're getting, just gaslighting that we are getting. It feels like an even more relevant and rational question to be asking, and somehow made even more interesting now that we know, or that we've learned, and thanks to the internet sleuths and the YouTubers that put this together, that an hour and a half before Charlie Kirk was assassinated in Utah, Donald Trump and Emmanuel Macron had a phone call that has been recorded in Emmanuel Macron's public calendar, which has been released. You can see that he had the phone call with Donald Trump at this would be 6:45, obviously, p.m. in French time. That's 10:45 a.m. in Utah time. 10:45 a.m. Utah time is when they had this phone call. And look, that could be nothing. There's a lot going on in the world, obviously. And we also know that there's been a lot of discussion about Ukraine, and there's a million reasons that Emmanuel Macron and him could have had that poorly timed phone call. But it would be great if a press member could not LOL and say what was the nature of the phone call, just so that we know, right? These are questions I think it's fair for us to ask with everything that's coming out.
Okay, this is going to be very offensive, and I know a lot of you all are going to get offended by this. So please come close, so we don't get. I don't want you to get upset. I'm going to be honest with you. I got a real serious question. On a scale of 1 being I knew nothing about, 10 being I got like a Charlie Kirk tattoo. Realistically, before Charlie Kirk passed away, how much did you know about Charlie Kirk before he passed away? 1 being very little, 10 being I got a Charlie Kirk tattoo. Like, realistically, how much did you really know about Charlie Kirk? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to put a 4 in there because I really didn't know a lot about him prior to. I'll just be honest. Somebody got a Charlie Kirk tattoo? Holy cow, who's this? I might need to see that. I might have to see that tattoo. I might have to see that. That's crazy work. I think it's fair to say, some people, I mean, there's some people that really knew a lot about him, which is dope. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Your boy, me, I didn't know a whole lot about him. And the reason I bring that up is Charlie Kirk really did not, Charlie Kirk didn't move a lot of people's needle as much as Candace likes to make it sound. All I'm saying, not saying it wasn't important. I'm not saying not a Christian, not saying anything like that. I'm just saying, like, really, in the grand scheme of things, he really wasn't people weren't really as dialed in as people want to make it sound. And because a lot of folk really don't. They really don't. And the idea that listen to what she's saying, like the French president is calling Donald Trump, we know what she's alluding to. Donald Trump, who owed a great deal of gratitude to Charlie Kirk. He knew who Charlie Kirk was. He got a Charlie Kirk tattoo. Just say, by the way, we're about to put Charlie Kirk's head to bed in a few minutes. That woman is crazy, man. This woman is crazy. I just want to be a fly on the wall to see how many lawsuits are coming. I just want to know how many lawsuits are coming. I just want to know how many lawsuits are coming, Lord. I just want to know.
And the lack of a true response that we're getting from anyone that has the means to answer these questions. Anyways, you guys, we're almost at overtime here, but in other assassination news, I wanted to mention to you that The Game, who is a hip hop rapper,
she still has not mentioned her own assassination. No new information.
is releasing an album, and he has a song on his track list in this upcoming album that's entitled The Assassination of Candace Owens. I'm having like the best year ever or something. I don't know. Why The Game? Why has it got to be song number 13? What's going on? This better not be predictive programming, okay? We know how Hollywood gets down, okay? We're reading your books. Anyways, he was asked this question, this exact question, why? And he gave an answer, and here's what The Game had to say.
So you got this new mixtape dropping, and then there's this like one track called The Assassination of Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Why that title?
Because recently I've been seeing like conspiracy theories and about Candace Owens from herself, self-admitted. She feels like people are conspiring her. So what it was is more so an assassination of the character. So I just used that because it was like current news, but it's not. The song is not about Candace.
Oh, okay. So it's just a little bit deeper than okay.
Yeah, I'm a rapper. We use metaphors,
Okay, but aren't you? I mean, are you worried about Candace coming for you about this? I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not worried about Candace. But then again, you got to hear the song.
Okay, so she'll understand if she hears the song, maybe.
I mean, the thing is, she said that people were trying to assassinate her. So all I did was say it too. You know what I'm saying? So again, the song is not about her, but Candace Owens, man, she real smart, really intelligent woman. But if she comes for me, I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. There's beef in these streets, okay? There's beef in these streets, and you better be scared because maybe I am coming for you, okay? I could be coming for you. I might drop a whole album. I might drop a whole mixtape too, okay? Anyways, I think it is a form of flattery. Obviously, I'm friends with Ye, and he makes music, and they do use a lot of metaphors, so I'm not offended by this. Do I love the timing? Could I get a break for 6 months, maybe, and not have that title be there? Sure, but I'm totally okay with this. I think it's kind of cool. I actually kind of think it's cool. I hope the song lyrics are cool, and it's not a diss track. And it's not gonna be like Eminem crying about me on a whole album, but I look forward to the song. I hope you feel free to use a little audio from the podcast. That would be cool. You could use a strip of me saying something. Everything is fake and gay would be super, super fly. Everything is fake and gay. Please put that in the song. That's my only request. All right, you guys, we'll get through a couple more sponsors and I will answer some of your comments.
Did y'all notice?
What if you could
So she couldn't mention, by the way, the French are out to delete me. Even in that. Like, okay, all right, maybe, okay, fine. No problem. I'm not going to keep bringing it up because apparently I'm just going crazy. But shout out to the best live chat on the internet. She just seems to be missing key opportunities to talk about something that would seem to be pretty important to her. All right, let's keep this dance going. Thank you so much, man. Shout out. So now Candace is saying that the TPUSA is going to assassinate her now. Don't talk to her. Sue her butt off. Thank you, Lila Rose, with the $7 super for sure. What does Black Sigma say? $5 this. What TPUSA did was a PR statement rather than serving her papers. Okay, interesting. I can see that. I appreciate the $5. My man, thank you so much. And Mo can't, I don't know, Thank you so much for the $10 super. She is going to try to make them answer questions that they can't because of the case. Then she will turn around and say, see, they won't answer because they are guilty. No, that's 1,000%. Thank you so much for the $10 super. And you're right on the money. You know exactly how she does this. So that's exactly what she's going to do. Black Sigma said this with a 5. Again, $100 super chat. TPUSA will never sue Candace because the spokesperson proved my point. Black Sigma, we might have to have a conversation, man. Hit me up, man. Hit me on the email. I'll give you all the details. Hit me up on the email. I think I get what you're saying. I don't know. I don't know. I can see them doing it. I kind of understand what you're saying, Black Sigma, but thank you so much. Hit me on the email. Thank you so much. Scappy with the $5 super says this. I want the Macrons to sue her socks off. I'm right there with you. I mean, I don't even care. She don't even have lotion on her feet. Sue her socks off, ashy toes, and everything. I appreciate you. All right. There's no evidence of French foreign legions at UVU. CIA is not Department of Defense. FBI is the main agency in the domestic issues, even if involved in foreign actors. Thank you, Phantom. Do we honestly expect Candace to know that? Do we honestly expect her to vet that out and do her research? Absolutely, positively, no. Thank you so much, man, for the $5 super for sure. But that's a great point, though. I appreciate it. Phantom comes back around the block with a 2, says this, U.S. and French presidents talk. None of your business. I mean, why is that? But see, what it is she's trying to take all of these things that might be coincidental, that might just be anomalies, might just seem weird, but they're coincidental, and she wants to make them something that they're not. Shout out for sure. Thank you so much for that. And then coming back around, Relax Jacks. We got another Jacks up in here with the $5 super says this. $2 super says this. She loves a song about her, right? Very much so. A song about her for sure. All right, I got an email. Hold on, I got an email. Oh, I found that article that she just read. We might go over that. That thing looks pretty good. It looks very interesting. What she's saying as relates to being bankrupted by the Macron case. So we might actually do a little veer off the track tonight and finish that and talk about that because that looks really good. All right, what we got? Okay. All right, I see a couple of comments. Oh, I got a couple of emails I need to look at. So I'm going to look at those in a moment. Thank you so much again, Black Sigma with the 10 says this. The spokesperson for TPUSA should have said, Candace, if you keep this up, we're going to, legal action against you. But no, instead, we will tell the truth about you in a debate that's weak. Okay. And that's kind of what I was thinking, Sigma. So, okay, we're definitely on the same page now. I can see where you were going with that. Yeah. But still email me. Hit me up on the email. I'll give you all the details still. All right. Thank you, MT with the 5 says this. Monica Lewinsky is the most mentioned woman in rap. The game knew how to get easy PR for an album. That's the woman who doesn't care about celebrity, by the way. Yeah, that's a good point. Celebs, by the way. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Isn't it wild that she tacitly mentioned Kanye West, but still will not address what happened with Kanye West and the Jewish rabbi? That's wild work. Here, we're going to finish this up. She's almost done, and then we'll double back and finish up the I want to look at that article real quick. So let's go. Green hearts in the chat when y'all can hear.
The game's muse. I don't think that's a stretch. I'm obviously the game's muse. I'm his muse for this upcoming album. So,
oh my gosh,
that is now a fact. And I had a lot of muses for my book, which is finally out, Make Him a Sandwich. You guys can get that on Amazon. People have been asking about international shipping. If you go to makehimasandwich.com, we are now shipping to Canada.
In the chat, do y'all really believe she makes her husband a sandwich? Tell me that. For real though. Do you really believe she makes her husband a sandwich? Really? All right, let's see what she's got. Let's see.
CandaceOwens.com. Also, we have some new merch if you'd like to support the show and support actual, true, independent journalism.
So she can sell merch, she can sell books, but TPUSA cannot sell a shirt. Okay, got you. So you can sell merch, you can sell shirts, but TPUSA is not able to do that because they're bad for doing that. Okay, got you.
Someone a membership to Club Candace or the book
A book club. You can do a book club, all that kind of stuff like that.
on the website and scroll down to want to gift a membership. And if your answer is yes, you can do that now. All right, top comment from yesterday's episode. Somebody writes, the worst part of being awake is realizing there are way more evil people on this planet than I ever thought possible. I actually don't think there's more. I think they have a tremendous amount of power. I think they have control over the military, and I think that power will wane if we stop subjecting ourselves to their systems, their financial systems, their peer pressure systems, Hollywood, the adoration that we had for stars, and we followed their trends. And if we actually studied where it all came from, which is incredibly evil indoctrination, quite literally doctrines of evil, which is guiding that movement. It's guiding that theology, rather. I spoke about it more at length with Russell Brandon on his show, so that should be coming out soon. But we have to become educated about where it stems from. There's less of them, but they have a lot of power and they have a lot of influence, and they have blackmailed people that are in powerful positions. There's definitively more of us. That's why they want to kill us. Obviously, that's why they want to drug us and keep us dumb, is because the numbers are not on their side. So we have to make sure it's not just the numbers, but also that the ideology is not on their side. The answer to people that want less families, not because they want you to be more efficient and to climb the corporate ladder. They just want less of you. There needs to be less slaves if you want to maintain control and you don't want the risk of a revolution to come down upon you. That's the true answer. That's why they promote all of these things. That's why they want people to have less children, is because they want to increase their numbers while decreasing ours. And so we need to be radical about not also giving our children to the system. If you can, and you absolutely can, homeschool your children, pull them out of the system. Don't send your kids to college. Usury is another one of their tactics. Don't rack up debt. I made that mistake and learned nothing. It's just more time for them to indoctrinate your children. Be bold in changing the system. Be radical in your response of taking ownership over your own home. That's what I would say in response to that. Goodness wins. Goodness wins. In truth, Christ has already won. More comments from today. Meryl writes, careful, Candace. They may be betting that you won't be available for a sit down the next few weeks. Also, watch your sources. Sometimes the feds plant sources with almost good information in order to humiliate their target later. Yes, I'm very aware of that. And we are very cautious about our sources. And sometimes that has happened and we haven't gone, fortunately, we haven't made a public mistake, but we'll keep going. And then I'll be like, I think this is good. And then Mark will be like, I don't know about this. Or Skylar will be like, I don't know about this. And that is what takes us so much time every day, is for a small team, but we're constantly having to debate ourselves before we put something out. So thank you for that. Briley writes, they didn't answer any of your questions. They only brought up speculations that you made throughout the series. I hope you don't go there in person for your own safety. It is so sad that we have reached a time where you guys are legitimately concerned about my safety. And I get that. I feel like there is definitely something military that happened when Charlie got assassinated. And I think our lack of comfort comes from perhaps their refusal to acknowledge that. I think their response is what makes you guys feel fearful. But truly, I don't think Turning Point USA is so silly and stupid that they would coordinate an assassination on their campus and then think they're going to be like, that just happened. It was all weird. She ate a bad sandwich or something. But it is sad. It really is a marker of a time.
Why is she not mentioning the fact that the French have a hit out on her? They got a marker on her. John Wick is wandering around looking for her. Why is she not mentioning that? That's crazy work, y'all. She is not mentioning that. I wonder why. That's crazy.
Times that we live in, that you guys truly feel this way. Angie Lynn writes, TPUSA will lie about everything, as they have been doing. Do not trust this for 1 second. You and your family's safety, money, everything is compromised. Team Candace, Christ is King. James Gray writes, the TPUSA response seemed fake, calculated, scared. That guy's body language was just completely off, and he was literally speaking from a script. Yeah, he's speaking from a script, but I will say the thing that felt genuine was at the very end when he said, I owe everything to Charlie. That's when he went off script. And I don't know that they remember or know how to be authentic like that anymore. They're going to find out because I'm very authentic, and us having a face-to-face, I think it's the best way to answer this. Look, I came from Turning Point USA, so you guys know
7 years ago.
There's there's an element of heartache. You don't go into an organization and help to build it up because you one day hope that the founder of it is going to be assassinated so that you can destroy it, the very thing that you helped to build in a very big way. I contributed greatly to Turning Point USA's success, and they would never deny that. And so it's sad. It is really sad to see this sort of elitist direction that they're taking we thought you guys would be smarter than to listen to her. Oh, you guys are Antifa. What is that? It's such crap.
That's so
James
funny.
Gray writes, sorry, I already read that one. Tara writes, licensed psychotherapist here. This is obviously an attempt to psychologically manipulate, and a terrible one at that. I would gladly put my license on the line at this point to help in even the smallest of ways, holding you and your family in prayer, Candace. Keep up the prayers. Keep up the prayers. Brittany Watson writes, Candace, you are not just going max, you are going scorched earth. And after watching Monday's episode, when you said that you are not some basic BI, I was like, girl, take my money. Thank you for being the world's best crime-fighting superhero. You know, I always think back to this interview that Kanye gave before I knew who he was. And I always loved Kanye. I loved his music. I loved the code of his music, which is you have to believe in yourself because the whole world is going to tell you you can't.
This is wild.
And as soon as you step into the arena and you think you've won and you start having any modicum of success, the pressure actually only levels up. And people that you thought that you would be allies with, you find to be your enemies. Like, that's kind of the coded message of Kanye's music. But there's this interview that he gives where he says, somebody, I don't know what they asked him, but he responds and he says, you know, if you're a fan of Kanye West, you're not a fan of Kanye West. You're actually a fan of yourself. You believe in yourself and you think that you can do something in this world. And I feel the same way. I think that the people who think that they're fans of mine, you're not fans of Candace. You believe in yourself. You believe that we can actually change things, and you believe that you should be able to fight for truth, and you're not going to.
That's how you know Candace is not, like, Christ is not even brought into he's not even entered into the group chat. He's not even invited into the conversation. Literally, you're a fan of Candace, you're a fan of yourself. You think that we can change everything. We can change the world. Like, really? That's some wild work. I just think that's some crazy work. And we're almost done because I do want to read this article to you all because it's pretty interesting. Okay, we're going to get down. Let's
Be
go.
influenced by people that are taking money to make videos and say things like there's that spark inside of you. It's kind of what I got when Kanye said that. It's not me, it's the spark that you see in me. It's the audacity to be yourself and to think your own thoughts and to keep going when the whole world tells you no. So that's how I feel. Candace Go Max. I love that someone picked up that name as their username. Thanks for the honest investigations. The truth shall set us all free. Thanks for the USS Liberty episode as well. To this day, the best interview that we have ever given. You could feel a spiritual movement in this room when we interviewed Phil Turney of the USS Liberty. I'll never forget that interview. It transformed me. It was a major turning point in my life. And thank you guys more. I mean, I'm so grateful to you guys. And I hope you know that I start all of my prayers with gratitude, because I started realizing that sometimes when you pray, you're asking for a lot. But if you start with gratitude of the things that you're thankful for, like, you know, you come to God and you're like, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful. By the time you get through all the things that you're grateful for, you're like, man, do I really want to lodge any complaints? It's a good way to pray. And I always say that I am grateful for the people around the world that believed in me and that continue to believe in me. And yeah, sometimes I make mistakes. I get time zones wrong, but at least you guys can see that my heart is in the right place. And I really do just genuinely want the answers. So I'm glad that we are at long last going to get them from Turning Point USA. It sounds like I said, I'll do this tomorrow. I don't have to be in person. We can live stream this. I think the people trust me to represent all of the questions that we have, and we can have the money go to Turning Point USA. Every dollar that's raised, I would gladly sacrifice that to the organization.
Isn't that crazy?
That's how much it means to just be able to get these questions answered. Anyways, you guys, we will see you tomorrow.
Isn't it crazy that she says she's okay with the money going to Turning Point when just yesterday she told everybody to pull their donations from Turning Point? This woman is nothing if she's not conflicted. If she's not conflicted, I don't think or inconsistent, I don't think it's even possible for her. I think she might implode. Thank you so very much. What do we got here? Let me finish these up, and then I'm going to read this article real quick. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for the 2. Have I mentioned it before? I can't stand her. I think I might have heard that a time or two. I may have said it 5 times. Phantom says this with the 5. She is so stupid. If this was a military hit, they use Full Metal Jacket. If shot with a military round, bullet would have went through. I mean, this is something interesting. I cannot wait for the round to be brought into the center, and everybody knows exactly what round hit Charlie Kirk, because she's thinking that because the gun can shoot, yes, the 30-06 can put out a projectile that could take down a moose or an elk or whatever like that. That's not the only ones that it can take out. And so there are rounds that are less volatile and won't go through. And if they find out that the bullet that he was hit with won't go through, I guarantee she's going to change the script and be like, that's not the right bullet. I guarantee you. That's what's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much for that. And Captain Jack with the 5, the air quotes Candace uses when she says faith is evident just how much she hates Christians. See? I agree. Now let's talk about this article right here. Hopefully I can bring it in. Did I bring it in? Okay, there we go. Inside the Economics. And I think I dropped the link in the chat. Here, let me put it in there again, just in case I did not already. I appreciate y'all tapping in with us tonight. Here, let me make this available to y'all. All right, let's go. All right, Inside the Economics. So Candace Owens' media empire and the Macron lawsuit threatening to unravel it. 5 years ago, Candace Owens was a mid-tier political operative working for Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. That's 5 years ago, 2020. That is not correct. That is not correct. Now she's globally famous conservative firebrand with one of the fastest growing independent media platforms in the U.S., raking in cash through controversy. But the same contrarian playbook that launched her solo career now threatens the media empire she built. Her company generates, look at this. Let me get out of my way. Look at what it says. Her media empire generates up to $10 million in revenue per year. I think that is definitely on track. I see no reason. It's probably more than that. I think they probably have done better than that, truth be told. Revenue per year, according to an analyst by Fortune, implying that the company's valuation would be multiples of that. That's crazy. The conservative podcaster and provocateur is facing a high-stakes defamation lawsuit filed by French President Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte Macron, the First Lady. The suit is set to test whether the controversy as currency overture that made Owens rich and gave her a media brand that reaches tens of millions of people can survive what experts say will be an immensely costly legal battle. And she says she's already spent about $250,000. I'm actually surprised. I would have easily expected it to have been, $500,000 to even $750,000, but okay. The 219, and it's actually 250-page complaint filed in the Delaware Superior Court in July 2025 accuses Owens of orchestrating a campaign of global humiliation by promoting the conspiracy theory that Brigitte Macron was born male. The plaintiff's weapon of choice, Claire Locke, the law firm that extricated a record-shattering $787.5 million settlement from Fox News on behalf of Dominion Voting Systems, the largest media defamation lawsuit in American history. The Macrons vehemently deny Owens' allegations. Owens has vowed to fight the suit. Interestingly, the suit alleges that spreading false information is essentially Owens' business model. Wow. I can't disagree. The complaint names 3 defendants: Candace Owens personally, Candace Owens LLC, her Delaware company manages social media and ad revenue, and George Tom Inc., presumably named after her husband, George Farmer, who is directly involved in the business and operates her website and podcast distribution. Okay, there we go. That's probably why George hasn't said anything, because if she just brought in $10 million, that's a hefty little revenue. He probably put his wife on the, leave her alone in the crosshairs. In naming all of three parties, the suit takes aim not only at Owens personally, but also her entire known business infrastructure. If ever there was a clear-cut case of defamation, this is it, relying on discredited falsehoods originally presented by the self-proclaimed spiritual medium and so-called investigative journalist. Ms. Owens both promoted and expanded on these falsehoods and invented new ones, all designed to cause maximum harm to the Macrons and maximum attention and financial gain for herself. A spokesperson from Claire Locke told Fortune in a statement, these claims are also reflected in the complaint against Owens. Despite the irrefutable evidence that was provided to her multiple occasions, she not only persisted, but doubled down on her attacks. To make matters worse, many others have republished her lies, thereby increasing her global audience and the emotional and reputational harm they have caused. It is clear that for Miss Owens, it's interesting to call her Ms. Owens. Have they been doing that the whole time? They've been calling her Ms. Owens, but she's married. Well, yeah, I guess she's not using her married name, so I guess she is Ms. Owens. Interesting. It is clear that for Ms. Owens, truth is irrelevant. The lawsuit is about bringing that truth to light and seeking justice for the Macrons by holding Ms. Owens to account. We are confident that the facts are on our side and look forward to proving her liability in court, the firm said. Oh, wait, actually, story continues. Can I keep reading it? Owens did not respond to repeated Fortune requests for comment. All right. Millions are on the line. Fortune studied public business records of Owens Business Holdings, researched the podcast economy, and spoke to legal and media experts and developed insight into on what Owens stands to lose in her legal battle. Okay, this is probably why this article right here, whether it's true or false, I'm sure they're probably trying to figure it out. This is probably why she's been so mad lately. Because I can imagine, man, think about it, man. If she's making millions, dare I say tens of millions of dollars on this platform, and she stands to lose the platform and then have to pay, that's probably why she comes across so mad lately. Let's keep it going. This is excellent. I'm glad I found this. If you're looking for this article, I'm going to drop it again in the chat, or if the mods can make it available. Understanding what is at stake starts with the scope of the structure of her business empire. Her brand sits squarely inside the booming conservative independent media market, which has exploded over the past 5 years. The scale of that economy helps explain how Owens has accumulated substantial wealth through her media ventures. The conservative media and influencer economy or ecosystem has become one of the most lucrative corners of the creator economy, characterized by substantial advertisement rates, distinctive monetization strategies, and revenue potential that often surpasses mainstream influencers markets. The Daily Wire, Owens' former employee, which is also considered a benchmark for the industry, generated more than $200 million in revenue in 2023. That's crazy. That's crazy. With comparable estimates in 2024. It has also grown into a diversified media operation with more than 1 million paid subscribers to its streaming service, Daily Wire Plus, and pulled in $22 million from e-commerce alone that year. Wow. I didn't know Daily Wire was cooking like that. Okay, Daily Wire, I see you. That's some crazy numbers. Advertisers have followed the conservative media appetite and money. The top 10 advertisers working exclusively with conservative podcasters are now spending a combined $5 million per month, nearly 4 times their average monthly spend in 2023. In November, analysts from Bloomberg found advertising rates for the top conservative podcasters, experts told Bloomberg, range from $10,000 to more than $100,000 per ad read. Man, stop playing. What? So, okay, hold on. I need some advertisers. Come on, people. So think about it. Let's just say Candace has one of those, and let's just say it's a $10,000 per ad read. She does 5 shows a week, and she reads that ad every time. If that's $10,000 per read in a week, that's 50 grand. That's 200,000. 200,000 in a month just from reading the ad. Am I going crazy? That is insane. Yeah, I can see why Candace is mad. She's humongous mad. She ain't big mad. She is humongous. She is big back mad. By contrast, the left-leaning podcast with sizable YouTube audiences like Midas Touch, which is 5.5 million subscribers, The Majority Report, and Bulwark, under 2 million, typically secure a few $1,000s per ad slot. Wow. That's insane. Y'all, I need an ad read. Can I do an ad read? Would y'all be okay if I did an ad read on behalf? Hi there, I'm Jason. Like, can I do an ad read? Come on, man. I ain't gonna be. Come on. I'll even take a few thousand. Look. I'm on sale this week. Look, your boy's on sale. We're doing a Black Friday sale. We're doing a Black Friday sale for the ad read. The brands fuel this surge from Birch Gold Group. Who's that? Birch Gold Group, which spent roughly $10.8 million on conservative podcast ads over the past year. Dude. To Preborn, an anti-abortion group that spent $13.1 million since 2023. That's insane. View conservative hosts as indispensable marketing channels. Many of these companies lack mainstream advertising avenues. Their customer base lives inside this ecosystem. I would do an ad read for Preborn. I like them though. I ain't gonna lie. I would do an ad read for them or support them. I would do that. All right. It's the golden age of political content creation right now. Howard Polskin, president of The Writing, which reports on conservative media, told Fortune, he pointed to the ability of independent right-wing content creators to earn tens of millions of dollars through solo ventures, rivaling the revenue being generated by mainstream media competitors like Newsmax, which reported $43.3 million in revenue last quarter. Wait, that's no chump either. Like, let's keep that in perspective. Last quarter? So that means they did almost $170 million, $160 million last year in a year. That's not bad. Look, let me tell you something. The cold hard reality is that the right-wing media generates millions of dollars, and this roughly half the country under its spell. Polskin added, the power can prove extremely lucrative for the power players in the market. George Farmer, Owens' husband, told Bloomberg that advertisers on their show allegedly reporting seeing returns of 2 to 1 on dollars spent and up to 5 to 1 in some cases. Right-leaning podcasters may command. So it's fair to say she stands to lose a lot if she lost advertisers, if she loses this case against the Macrons. I mean, this is a lot at stake. So I can see why she's coming across, as a lot of people have pointed out. Candace seems super mad starting Monday. She seemed really mad. I can see why they say that now. Right-leaning podcasts may command substantial higher ad rates because they have amassed larger and more engaged followings than the left-leaning counterparts, as a 2025 report from the Media Matters found. But also, these audiences may be more likely to buy from the ideologically driven brands, yielding better returns for advertisers. Following former President Joe Biden's election, Republicans increasingly flocked to politically aligned products in 24. Columbia Business School study found right-wing brands pay notably high CPM, which is cost per thousand impressions, a metric for online advertising that measures the cost of displaying an ad to 1,000 times. Rates liberal creators don't receive. According to Bloomberg, for shows such as with more than 100,000 downloads per episode, mid-roll ads typically fetch CPMs of $25 to $50 per 1,000. Good night. That's crazy. Equating to $2,500 to $5,000 per ad. Whatchamacallit probably gets way more than that then. Data from digital marketing firm Design Rush found at Owens' peak volume of roughly 3.5 million downloads per episode, even conservative CPM estimates put the single sponsorship read at 50,000 to 175,000 just for an ad, and she runs multiple sponsors per show. That's crazy. So if I think she does, if I'm not mistaken, I think she does 5 to 6 ads. Maybe 7, but let's just say 6 for easy math. And if all of them landed at the 50,000 mark, that means that her show pulls in, just in the hour, she pulls in almost $300,000 just in ads. I think she does more too. I think it's more than that, but I was just trying to do some quick math, but hey, that's insane. Wow. Okay, let's keep going. For Owens, this creates a direct financial incentive. The more provocative the content, the higher the audience engagement and the higher the ad rates. Conspiratorial and provocative content blows up because people want to go deep and uncover hidden truths and be a part of the investigation. That's what Candace is doing, and that's what she was doing with the Macron claims. Angelo Caruso, president and chairman of the left-leaning media watchdog group Media Matters, told Fortune, put simply, controversy drives views, views drive sponsors, and sponsors fund the entire operation. I mean, no lie detected there. There's no lie. Controversy as a business model. Before the Macrons filed the defamation suit, Owens had quietly built one of the most successful independent media machines in conservative politics after the contentious split with Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire in March 2024, allegedly sparked by a slew of on-air anti-Semitic comments and staunch criticism of Israel. She launched a solo venture that quickly scaled into a multimedia operation. The Daily Wire did not respond to Fortune requests for comment. Owens has previously characterized her firing from the media venture as a matter of principle, where she presented herself as a truth teller who refused to bow to institutional pressure, and later accused the Daily Wire of launching a smear campaign against her. Owens' star power lies in her denicism. The former Democrat founded Blexit movement, a campaign for black voters to embrace conservatism and leave the party. I think that's interesting. It just says the party. Well, what's the party? The Democrat Party. And it's what Caruso calls a talented storyteller. She is also somewhat of a Renaissance woman. She is appealing to a segment of and satisfying a demand right now, which is that you can be a modern woman and a mom, but also embrace traditional roles and ask hard-hitting questions and not be shot down for it. Her digital footprint is vast. According to the Media Matters, her follower and subscriber base grew by more than 9 million across platforms this year alone. Her self-entitled podcast, Candace, which debuted in June 24, became a breakout hit. In October 25, it ranked number 1 globally across platforms and downloads and views per episode, averaging 3.5 million to 6.9. I just made that number up. 3.5 to 3.6 million downloads per show. A report from podcast analytics platform Podscribe found. While she sits at a number 28 in the U.S. by weekly listener reach, behind giants like the Joe Rogan Experience and Crime Junkie, her per episode performance is exceptional. Her YouTube channel has 5.58 million subscribers and more than 1.1 billion total views, regularly drawing 500,000 to 2 million views per video. This year alone, it has amassed more than 617 million views. Third-party analytics by content creation inside platform vidIQ estimate the channel generates between, here it comes, because vidIQ is pretty on the nose, so their estimates are going to probably be pretty good, within maybe 5 to 10%, give or take. So let's go. Generates between 118,000 to 353,000 per month in revenue alone, potentially 1.4 million to 4.2 million annually before costs. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Because I said like 200 just from one of those ads. So I'm sure it actually could be more than that. I think this one, even though I just gave vidIQ a compliment, this actually could be a low number. Across social platforms, Owens holds an additional 6.9 to 7 million viewers in X, formerly Twitter, and more than 5 million on Instagram, giving her a combined social media reach exceeding 10 million. That audience size puts her in a league with major television personalities and gives her distribution power rivaling traditional media outlets. ABC Good Morning America, for comparison, draws only an average of 2.59 million viewers per episode, according to Nielsen. Wow. Her podcast is The Financial Engine, according to Bloomberg. Owens' show had the highest ad density among 8 major conservative broadcasters studied. More than 90% of her episodes contain host-read ads. She has roughly 60 sponsors in rotation. That is insane. Featuring the marquee names of the conservative advertising universe: Preborn, Birch Gold Group, the wellness company, which promotes Invictamectin, and I'm not going to try to pronounce that, as pandemic preparedness medications. 7 Weeks Coffee, which donates 10% of its purchases to crisis pregnancy centers, and True Talk, a conservative cellular carrier. Her husband, who oversees much of her business, told Bloomberg that only one advertiser, he claimed, has pulled out in the past year. Speaking fees add another lucrative income stream. Owens commands $50,000 to $100,000 for in-person appearances and $10,000 to $20,000 for virtual events. Like, where is she speaking? I don't think I've ever seen, not ever, I'm sorry, take that back. I don't think I see Candace speaking anywhere. I wonder, like, who's paying us to have her come speak? Merchandise sales and book royalties contribute additional revenue. Taken together, and given that podcast sponsorship alone could generate $2 million to $10 million annually, depending on the volume and rates. Realistic estimates place Owens' total yearly income in the low to mid single-digit millions. Exact figures, however, remain private. All right, I'm not going to read through all of this. This is a lot longer than I thought. I thought it was going to be a lot shorter. I'm sorry. This is wild. So hopefully you all see this is a very interesting take. So what I want to do, let me find where they talk about the Macrons, because a lot of this is just still talking about how they generate their monies. But I think this is interesting, especially when you think about, I don't see them even talking about the Macrons. Like, how's the Macron case going to? I don't see it, but I'm gonna leave the link for y'all. Check it out for sure. That was very interesting, and I'm glad she brought that up. But it's interesting she brought that up, but she didn't talk about all of the depth of it. And I think personally that's why she's upset this week, because she does seem very mad. She seems pretty torqued off, if you want to use that word. She seems pretty upset this week, and I wonder why. Maybe because she realizes that this case is not going to go the way that she thought it was going to go. She is going to have to answer for it, and she doesn't want to do it. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. So thank y'all so much. I thought I saw real quick, and we're going to look at it. I got a video from Artie Trolls, and I'm going to get y'all out of here. Christ is king. He is king of the blank. He is also the Lion of the tribe of Judah. He will come back and he will sit on the throne of David, the king of the blank. I love it. Thank you so much, Phantom, with the $5 super. I think I think the problem is with Candace is that she really doesn't know what she's talking about. She has Dunning-Kruger effect, high yield Dunning-Kruger effect. She doesn't know something, but she will talk about it emphatically, and she will be big proud of it and just totally mess it up. So I think that's it. So real quick, a lot of people brought this to my attention, which was Tim Pool called out Candace Owens. Artie trolls discussed it. I'm gonna bring Artie in because he's a friend of the channel for sure. And
hey everybody, how's it going? So the cat fight continues here.
Sorry about that. That was too loud. That was way louder than I thought it would be. If the mods could drop Artie's link in the chat, that would be super dope. Let's go see what Artie's talking about here. Let's go.
And of course, Candace Owens makes a bunch of baseless claims, as per usual. I ended up doing a little bit of a video yesterday, but was not, it was very cluttered. Going over her entire streams have been a little bit of a pain. And I was really, really busy with something that you guys really may be interested in before too long. I can't reveal anything yet. So I'm going to ask for you guys is just a like and a subscribe if you guys are new. And if you guys are not new, or new or not, just watch the video all the way to the end. That's all I ask for. I'm going to try and make this as brief as possible. To make it just easy. Even if you don't like me, thank you for at least clicking on the video. I genuinely appreciate it. Pro Candace, I understand. Just all I ask you is to hear my argument first. But anyway, guys, let's dive right on into this. So Tim Pool calls out Candace, saying Candace Owens implies TPUSA ended Charlie. Okay, claims failed BB deal cost millions. It's getting out of control because she doesn't have any proof for any of this whatsoever, and is just spouting it off. And it's really, really, really silly. Of course, now she's trying to destroy all of TPUSA. I received information last night that put the final pieces together for me. I can now say with full confidence that I believe Charlie Kirk was betrayed by the leadership of Turning Point USA. And some of the very people who eulogized him on stage. Yes, I will be naming names and providing evidence for my claims. And I am making personal plea to every well-meaning person who donated to this godforsaken organization to request a refund. You were lied to and leadership knew. This could actually get her in trouble. Telling people to go ahead and refund without any evidence whatsoever, that's a little wild. Also, in her stream, she never actually showed any proof or anything. She dropped names, but she didn't show any evidence. But that's beside the point, right? At the end of the day here, this tweet is probably going to become more important than we ever knew. And for more than just one reason. I'll get into that later. Don't you worry, guys. We'll get into it eventually. Now, Candace Owens has admitted that she lied about informing the White House. This is absolutely incredible. Let's take a look at this.
So Candace Owens finally had her episode that she delayed because that big bad hit squad was out to get her, and you won't believe what she admitted to.
Yeah, over Thanksgiving, she acted like she was literally in danger and was going dark over Thanksgiving when it was just actually taking a Thanksgiving break, and then she was in Dollywood. So, amazing. But that's beside the point. Watch this evidence here. This guy's pretty good at covering it. What's his name? I just want to give him a shout out here. Nick Matau. Okay.
There's a little bit of context. So here she says that the White House and the counterterrorism agencies have confirmed receipt of what she reported, that Emmanuel Macron attempted to organize her assassination. Now notice how she words that. She says confirmed receipt. Obviously she's doing that on purpose because she's trying to trick her following into believing that the White House confirmed what she said. A lot of her supporters were like, whoa, they confirmed it, blah, blah, blah. Someone correctly told Candace, receipt simply means someone opened an email or logged an online report. I want you to remember those words, email, online report.
We know how it works. She reported something she literally, anybody who didn't understand this from the beginning is really probably not the most intelligent. Okay? Not saying that a lot of people didn't necessarily pay attention, but I mean people who are really engaged with Candace, who are heavily looking into this stuff, are the ones not paying attention, okay? I can understand somebody who's not paying attention to the politics of this or really paying attention that closely to Candace going, oh, they confirmed it. But the people who are actively viewing Candace every day should absolutely know better, because all she did simply was just be like, I filed a report. That's like going and filing a police report that your bike was stolen. You're not going to get in trouble for that. You could tell the police what kind of bike it was. Even if you never owned that bike at all, how could they confirm that? Okay? So going and telling, because she's like, oh, I could get in trouble for making a false report. Yeah, but the problem is it doesn't even have to be false. All you have to do is say, somebody told me this, that the French hired this person. And I got it from this anonymous email. I don't know where it's from. The police aren't going to get you in trouble for that. They can't. They can't prove that you sent that email to yourself. They can't prove any of that. Like, especially if it's...
I don't know about that. Because if I make a claim, I don't know about that. I know there's some police in the chat. We got spies in the chat. Let me know. I don't know if you can do that. I don't think you can say, hey, I was told this piece of information. I'm filing a police report based upon this information, and it comes to find out that it's not true. I don't know about that part. I don't know about that one. I don't know. I know Captain Jax has some background. You know, there's some feds up in here. If you're in a fed, you know, let me know. So is hearsay? You think that's hearsay? Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. That one seems. I don't know if you can get in trouble per se, but I do think that you don't want to do it. That's what I would think. But okay, let's go.
You know, sit through a secure network, and it's not really easily traced. You know what I mean? And they're not going to waste their time and their resources investigating all of this to prove that Candace sent her email to herself or anything like that. They'd have to take all her systems, and they just don't have the basis to be able to have a search warrant on Candace for somebody giving an anonymous tip. I get emails all the time, guys. I really do. You can find my email on my YouTube page. You just got to click the More button, like right by my logo, my face and whatnot. My email pops up. I have several people telling me that they're going to put a double barrel, you know, and do that to me.
Whoa.
I send them off all of the time. I collect them, I log them, and if anything happens, the police at least know that there was a possibility. But they're not going to actively be able to search. They don't know, and most of the time, it's just some online troll. Probably from Pakistan or something telling me that. We don't know, and we can't take it too serious. I'm packing every day. I have easy access. I have one right next to my desk right here. Can't show you guys, obviously. It's against YouTube terms of service. But that's the whole point, is I'm ready in case something happens. And the police know, they know me decently well. Like, not super duper well. I just kind of give them like I think I give them like 3 or 4 threats maybe a year, you know, that have happened. And I'm a small guy. I'm a small YouTuber. So they have them, they understand, and they have a set of receipts to go through if something happens. But that's the only way they're going to investigate it, is if something happens. Just the way it is. Now, if I were a much, much bigger person, and obviously some actual credible threats really came through, there's a way to kind of tell. It depends on, you know, especially how I feel. If I see something, I'm like, hey, this is kind of legit. They're naming off some serious stuff. That's one way. And I've never had that before. I've never had anybody rattle off personal stuff about me or anything involving my place or anything like that. So, I've never had to turn one of those in, luckily. Maybe in the future I will. But most of the time, it's just someone saying, you're a piece of garbage. If I ever see you, I'm going to do this. And it's just like, okay, well, that's just such a nothing. And they're probably very far away. So, it's just one of those situations. Candace can do the same thing. It's that simple. Oh, great. My plug-in again, not working. Thank you so much, Windows 11, you piece of
Then
garbage.
Candace says this. Why are you explaining English to me like I'm not a native speaker? I said what I meant. They confirmed receipt of my claims. All right. Now we can see what she said on today's show.
I didn't go through an official channel and send an email, and I should do that. But I did send a text message to somebody very high up who received the text message.
She sent a text message. She didn't fill out an email. That's why I told you guys. Remember the words email, online report. She didn't fill out an email. She didn't fill out an online report.
She essentially texted somebody she knows in the government. That's what she did. She didn't do a proper report, I guess you could say. I don't know if it would be like a police or an FBI report. Would they call it that? I don't know. She didn't fill out a proper report. She sent a text message, guys. That's what Candace did. Okay? This whole time, everyone thought that, hey, there's a hit on her. Oh, no, she's running and hiding. Well, here's the thing. She never ran and hid. She was out partying. Okay? She was doing it for Thanksgiving. Took a break. And then she never actually filled out the proper paperwork to report an attempted hit on her life. Instead, she just sent somebody a text message that's in the government. I don't even know who that is. I don't even know what branch of government. Could have been part of the FBI. Could have been part of the justice system in general. Could have just been J.D. Vance. I don't know. Who is she talking to?
My cousin.
Could it have been
my cousin Leroy.
Marjorie Taylor Greene or someone like that? No clue. Absolutely no clue whatsoever. I don't know. Could have been a secretary. Could have been the secretary of, like the secretary of the Treasury or something like that. I don't know, whatever position she could have texted. She didn't reveal it. It's interesting, isn't it? Very interesting how that works. So, Candace, just a few minutes ago, actually says she loves this challenge. I have never used bots, nor did we spend a single dollar on advertising. We also took $0 from investors. That's great. I don't know what's going on necessarily. I can't prove that Candace is behind this or not. Every time I make these videos, though, I do get an influx of bots all at the same time defending Candace. About 10 to 20 of them. And then it'll stop for a while. And then when they get some more criticism, because my like to dislike ratio is very high. It's like 95% to 99% on all the videos I do on Candace, okay? Most people agree with me. So this is why I'm like, I'm not getting bombarded by Candace fans or anything like that. That's not what's happening. What's happening is whenever I get one comment that defends Candace, which I should get them like, you know, defend, attack, whichever ones, you know. But hers always come in all at the same time. It'll be like 20 people all at once within like 5 minutes of each other telling me that I'm dumb and stuff. They won't even refute any of the arguments that I have in the video, which is why I ask at the beginning for you guys to make it to the end.
You know, it's
just that simple reason. But I think I'm trying to reason with bots. And that's probably my issue. I don't know that for a fact, though. I don't necessarily know they're bots, but when I click on their YouTube channel, they're usually brand new. They have very weird names. It's not very concise, you know, with actually being diehard fans or anything. They just have that same talking point of, oh, well, you're ugly. Oh, well, you're dumb. And then they'll address points sometimes, every now and then, that I've already addressed in the video, but they didn't watch the video, so I guess they don't know. It's very bizarre, okay? So anyway, she says, after my highly publicized firing, we made a conscious decision to come back truly solo. Team of just 4 on the podcast, including me, and 1 person in ads. We actually take it as a major compliment that people think otherwise. Shows the world that things truly can be done outside of the system. But you'll probably sued for it. What? Candace, can you, like, there's so many spelling issues in this. Or not spelling, but just so many, like, grammatical issues in this. I've never used bots, nor did we. Okay, great. And then down here, but you'll probably sued for it. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means at all. But anyway, let's see what Timmy said here.
I don't think our show generates enough buzz for her to mention.
Oh, I disagree. I think she has a lot of respect for you. And I think she knows the show is very important. And I think this will get a response. I mean,
maybe.
I mean, it would be very silly, very, very silly for her to not have any type of respect for Timcast in general. Even whenever I was having my beef with Tim, I still respected the show. I respected what he was preaching, what he was standing for, all the stuff he did, because I knew he was at least telling the truth. A lot of the stuff Candace was doing, right up until before Charlie, like, she hasn't mentioned anything outside of Charlie Kirk, which is why I'm criticizing her so heavily now. Even if she was still talking about the Trump administration or, you know, the left or anything in general, I could still look at that and be like, no, this is crap or this is good, knowing whether it's her or not. Like, a great example, Marilyn Manson. Absolutely love his music. Absolutely cannot stand him as a person. I separate the art from the artist. There's nothing, like, it's different. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't ever listen to his music knowing how big of a piece of garbage he is. But the thing is I'm a musician, and I take inspiration from every piece of music just about. But mainly, I'm a metal guy, you know? Folk metal, symphonic metal, stuff like that, which is why I have so many different influences, like in the classical area, like, you know, Paganini and other people like that. I'm not going to try and bore you guys, but I have a very wide spectrum of music that I listen to. And all of it, every single type of style of music can always be applied to metal music. That's just how versatile metal music is. Most people don't even know it. Yeah, there is crazy folk, symphonic, Irish metal music out there. That's crazy. You'll hear, like, the Irish flute going with the metal music, and it works very well. Same thing with, like, gigantic orchestrated pieces of music, like from, like, Rhapsody of Fire to
the show's
having respect for all your different type of peers. I can separate that stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. So at the end of the day, if Candace was still doing a good job, even though I don't like what she's doing in half her other segments, I would still credit her for the good job she's doing on the other subjects. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like Candace would probably do the same for this too. It would be the smart thing to do. Maybe I'm wrong. She seems to not do it for Steven Crowder, even though he does incredible reporting and has incredible inside scoops. But I guess maybe Candace doesn't. Maybe I actually was giving her a little too much credit now that I think about the Steven Crowder stuff. But in general, it's a good thing to assume that, and it's a good thing as a person to understand that somebody created something or reported on something very, very well, even if they're a bad person.
You know, the thing is, like we were looking at that story, talking about how much money she made. There's Twitch is a big problem right now with bots. There's a reason why people buy bots to make their viewership look bigger.
Right.
We're
Which
not
is why I
going
don't
to
go on
get-
Twitch.
You know, so right now, what do we have? We've got we're split between Rumble. We have 46,000 concurrent viewers, which is it's actually really good because 4 years ago, when we were in the off season after the 2020 election, we were averaging about 27,000 concurrent viewers. So the show has grown, its consistency, and all these things. I don't need to bot or buy views or do anything like that because honestly, I don't really care if it's number 1, number 10, number 100. But people don't understand that Candace has one really big show she does every day, and it's big. She people really like it. That's great if they like it, whatever. And so you'll hear in the press about how she's so big. Well, actually, across the board, I'm pretty sure we get equal to or more views than she does. As a company, I've got 4 different shows of different subject matter, and then we've got audio side, then we've got the other shows. So, you know, I think if I were to stop doing 5 different shows and just do one, I don't think I'd get as many views as Candace, but I think I'd probably get like 60-70%. Whereas
You would probably, if he just did one an hour a day,
he would do well.
Right now, he probably wouldn't, but given probably about enough time, maybe about 6 months of doing so, give people enough time to figure out. Because here's the thing. I didn't know that Tim started off these different shows. I didn't know he rebranded like the Culture War and stuff like that. So it takes some time for a lot of people to figure out, oh, this format has changed. You know what I mean? Unless they are absolutely tuning in daily. Not a lot of people necessarily do that. A lot of people like to pick up on Tim for the clips that happened from his live show, and then they miss the context of him going, hey, we're changing this in a month. You know what I mean? That they would have mentioned a month ago, and then you're watching clips, and then they stop rolling in. You're like, what happened? Then it takes like another month of like, because you know, as soon as the clips stop coming in, you look at it and you go, oh, that's a bummer. He must have taken off. And then you go and listen to somebody else for a while, and then you'll see a random Timcast like clip pop up, and they're like, oh, this all looks different. Oh, this format's different. What is this? Then you have to go and start researching for yourself what happened, and then you figure it out and you go, oh, there's a new channel. Go and click and subscribe.
Right.
It takes time. That's probably what's going on, is subscribers just in general are not paying attention to that. So I think he could do it. It's a whole mess of getting your subscribers to know.
As you know, Tim Castile does about 500,000, and she does like 2. If I stopped doing all the other shows, the viewers would concentrate around one show or whatever. My point is, there's
I don't know if you'd had the same viewers though.
It's you have to break down total viewership per company per view. So it's like her show's really big, but it's one hour-long show per day, right?
Okay, so I didn't hear him directly accuse her of using bots, but that's crazy. Tim Pool spends entire segment coping and seething about Candace Owens beating him. That didn't happen. Blames bots and claims he never used bots. Not exactly. Not exactly. He said there's a reason why people use bots on Twitch. So that's interesting. So I'm assuming challenge $100 cash to whoever proves Tim Pool is lying about not using bots. Okay, well, let's see. I absolutely am down for the challenge. Who's using bots and who's not using bots? Tim Pool or Candace Owens? Let me know down in the comment section below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll go over a lot of Candace's stream here later on, guys. It's absolutely annoying. But for now, Tim Pool seething and getting angry, coping. It's crazy, right? Just absolutely crazy. There was so much coping and seething there. Thank you all for watching. Please like, subscribe, guys. And my live streams will resume tomorrow night. So thank you all again, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.
Shout out to Artie Trolls. Good content creator, does a great job. I just want to give him a little bit of shine. So thank you so much for him, what he does there. Let me get this done, and we are going to round these bases. What do we have here? Don't forget to like this video so Jason can pick up some sponsors. Thank you so much, Captain Jax, for the $5 super. Yo, man, them sponsors are crazy, man. I need a sponsor. You know what I really would like? I would like a consistent interview style where I can just have some great content creators to interview. I mean, that would be great for me. I would love that. That's what I want. There's some content creators I would love to have on, or just people in general I would love to have on. So anyway, Captain Jax came back with a 10, says this: the way Candace has presented the assassination, I could get a warrant for her computers, phone, and all digital devices and indict her if I learn she lied. You know what? That's why I don't think she's actually pushed it further than I told people. Now you need to ask those people why they haven't replied. Because to me, I agree with you, Captain Jax. Thank you so much for the $10. Very kind of you. I think that she would get in trouble. I think so. If she really did file a report, I believe she would come up on the wrong side of the law. I think so. Now, I don't know if you can get in trouble for making a false claim, like, oh, well, somebody told me. But like you said, if we find out that you are somebody that told you yourself that story, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day. I think we're going to have a good time. Now, somebody, I don't know who this is, and I don't want to put their name out there. Their initials are MT. And I'm just going to show you, MT has found, I don't know where they found this. MT has found the articles that Candace used to write before she did Social Autopsy, before she became a quote unquote conservative. Yo, well, I guess this is part of Degree 180. So she was doing Degree 180 at this point. And I was trying to read this. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm going to pull this up. I'm just going to show you the title of the article that I found. The person sent me like 6 or 7 of them, but I'm just going to show you this one. I'm not going to be long. I'm just going to show you this. This is craziness. Look at the title of this. That's crazy. And they're all like this. That this person sent me, they're all very provocative, very controversial. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Y'all can watch it, check it out for sure and read it. But yeah, man, this is where she was back in 2016. Yeah, I'm just gonna read this first paragraph. I know. I just said I wasn't, but I'm gonna read this first paragraph and then I'm gonna get out of here. And I know this is going to piss a lot of people off because cheating is awful, because millions of families are torn apart year after year, because therapy, because counseling. That's why. I mean, even without the promise of marriage, the devastation it causes on even the most basic levels of dating is unthinkable, horrible. But look what she says. But I think affairs are romantic. Yo, this is some wild work, y'all. This is some crazy stuff. And it's apparently she went through the Wayback Machine to find it. And there it is right there. That's crazy. Yo, I have no idea what that woman was thinking about. That's some nasty work right there. Anyway, yeah, Candace is crazy. Candace is a mess. But thank y'all so much for rocking with me, y'all. Thank you again. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before my birthday in April. I'd love to be able to celebrate 100,000 subscribers with y'all. Open up the 100,000 plaque, all that kind of stuff like that. I don't know how long it takes, but anyway. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Thank y'all for hanging in there, man. I really appreciate you all tapping into the live streams, being a part of the best live chat on the internet and the most electrifying comment section on the planet. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot that y'all hang in there with me. I do want to remind you again, tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time, I'm going to have Megan Grout on. We're going to be talking about Fonnie Willis and Fulton County DAs and the Trump RICO trial, all that kind of stuff like that. So bring your questions. She said she'll take some questions, so I'll be happy to take your questions and such like that. I also want to let you know, in January, we are going to be doing our book discussion on the screw tape letters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put up the webinar so y'all can sign up and give you the audio book. I got the audiobook version as well as the regular book version if you want to pick it up and be a part of our book discussion on the screw tape letters. And if you follow me on my Substack, all of our videos from our Pilgrim's Progress book study are there as well. So you can check them out over there. I hope I said it enough. I really do appreciate y'all. See, that's why I want to give y'all enough time. I want to give y'all enough time to make sure you had time. It's a great book. I was like, man, I can't I don't know why I don't read this more often. It's a great book. So anyway, I just want to make sure y'all had enough time for you all to tap in, grab the book, get the audio book, listen to it a couple times, read it a couple times, because in January, I'd love for us to get started and have a great book discussion. So I just want to say again, y'all, thank you so much. Last month, and I'll probably do that tomorrow for Thankful Thursday, but last month we hit like 85,000 likes on the channel, 1.9 million views, just craziness. Like my niece is like, I can't believe that 1.9 million people want to listen to you, Uncle, and I get to listen to you for free. I said, that's hilarious. I love her. But I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm glad y'all are liking what we're doing. You all keep me sane going through this, because I promise you, I would not be doing these candy watch parties without you all. I mean that. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. Maybe we're all like contributing to our own self-demise. I don't know. But hey, you know what? We're doing it together. So we'll make it work. I do want to say, so I'll see you all tomorrow, Lord willing. I think that's all we got. Have a fantastic night. Go get some dinner, enjoy your family, all that kind of good jazz, and we'll do it again real soon. Let me make sure. Yes, we'll do it again real soon. Everybody, have a great night. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.